Alrighty, chat. We're live. Hello, hello. Let me ping the Discord. At Stream Squad. Okay, sorry for the second ping. We're live. Let's do this thing. Alright, Discord is pinged. Howdy, chat. What's up? I feel like the music's a little loud. Let me turn it down. What is happening? Sorry, I'm eating pretzels with peanut butter inside them, and they're super dry. So when I chew them, it takes me a minute to get it to chew it out. You know, but they're filling. I like them. Nice little calorie packets, you know? I got new glasses. Check this out. Clear frames, brother. I can look smart AF on stream now. I will say the one thing I don't like about them is that the light goes around the inside of the rim of the glasses, and it's kind of disorienting. But yeah. Damn, looks good, man. The only thing about it is Jelly has the exact same frames. And I'm not kidding verbatim. These are the exact same thing. Got 30K while you were in Boston? You got to 30K? Good for you, man. Nice. That's exciting. I told her I would wear the black frames when she wears hers. See, I thought her main pair was a set of black frames with red on the inside. Which is why I got these. Turns out these are her main pair. Well, not these ones, but you know what I mean. But I like the way they look. And like when I dress up, like when I wear a polo and slacks or whatever, I feel like they go better than just black frames. If I was going to get more black frames, I would have got thicker ones than these. The thicker, the better. First time seeing your eyebrows. You can't see my eyebrows on these? Is that true? You can't see my eyebrows? Yeah, I guess you can't. No eyebrow having ass. No eyebrow having ass. My Buffalo Bills got the shit kicked out of them yesterday. It was a fucking debacle, bro. Look at this shit. Look what happened. Look what happened. 10-35. They got their fucking shit pushed in. Best fucking team in the league, and they get their shit pushed in by the fucking Baltimore Ravens. Fucking shit football team. Why do I root for these fucking losers? I'm not kidding. They came out and they looked flat AF. They were not ready for that game. I was so mad, bro. I was so mad. I turned that shit off with 6 minutes. I turned that shit off with 6 minutes left in the first half. My ass went to bed. I said, we're going to lose. There's no way we come back. And sure enough, I wait. Now, at that point, it was 21-3. So that means the Ravens scored 2 more touchdowns. And the Bills only scored 1 more. I don't even know where they got the touchdown from. Because Josh Allen sure fuck didn't throw it. Ty Johnson rushing touchdown. What the hell is that? That means nothing to you guys. And it means nothing to me as a Bills fan. Hello, Goofy Guy. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Sorry, I'm just complaining about my football team being ass. Not European football, American football. The important football to me. Also, yesterday's upload did horrible. One of the One of the worst that we've seen in a while. We watched the whole ass podcast for Kairos time. We're going to watch it straight from the horse's teat, but we're going to skip around. We're going to watch the things that sound exclusive. That sound exciting. Like, I already took a peek at some of the chapters because at first we were going to do the whole thing. Because normal people that upload podcasts do hour and a half at most podcasts. Because most people don't sit much longer than that. These motherfuckers dropped the Dark Knight of podcasts. They dropped the Batman of podcasts. And what I mean by that is Batman with Robert Pattinson. That shit's like 3 hours long. I'm surprised they like used lighting too. That shit's ridiculous. Anyway, this podcast is almost 3 hours long. So sitting down and watching and doing a react of it is not viable for me. It'll take me 3 hours. It'll take me 6 hours to get through it if I stop and talk about every point.
Point shortest in Brawl Stars and no more permanent feature.
Shut up, Danny. So, what we'll do is we'll check out the individual chapters. So, like, things that don't interest me, for example, will there be more investment in esports since the game is doing so well? I don't give a shit about that. The answer is probably yes, but I don't care. So, like, things that don't really interest me, we'll skip over. And the things that do interest me, like, for example, will there be another free Brawler challenge again? We'll check that out. You know? Yeah. So, the unimportant stuff we'll skip. You guys know what I mean. Good luck. What up, what up, what up? I think the reason why the Poco video didn't do so well is because people already knew about that for at least a week. Dude, I think part of it is my inactivity. Because, like, you would think that, like... Alright, so I expect videos to get at least 500 views because I would think that my active viewer base would at least be baked in and come and check out the videos. But, unfortunately... that didn't happen because I've been super inactive. So I probably fell out of people's YouTube feeds, so that's definitely a factor of it. On top of that, it's also a gameplay video for me, and people don't really come... Like, I don't do gameplay videos normally, so it's out of my wheelhouse normally. Still unpacking. That's Jelly. Jelly dragged her feet on unpacking, all right? Anyway, it's a gameplay video for me. Doesn't really follow my normal upload thing, so it's going to have less audience pull there. And then, like you said, maybe that strategy is a little... But I have... I've doctored it up a little bit to bury the initial thing to try to generate some interest in it. So maybe we'll generate some views on it. White glasses means good, Jam. They're clear. Let's be clear. They're clear. Have I already watched the podcast? No. I like that one part from the video. Was it the nuts to butts comment? I can't remember where I heard nuts to butts from, but it made me laugh so hard that I say it a lot when referring to, like, packing things in. Give me a minute. I'm eating my pretzels. Man, I guess I missed a lot of things. Not really. I just been yapping a little bit. I complained about the Bills. Eating my pretzels. What are you talking about in the video? Wouldn't be shocked. The video's got shit retention, too. The retention's not that bad. 2.5 minutes is pretty much average. The click-through rate is abysmal, though. The click-through rate's 2.2%. All right, so chat. As a heads up, I have wrote down a whole list of videos I want to work on. Hold on a second. No, not that. Cam pins, Discord. Ah, it won't let me show you guys. Never mind. I wrote it on a sticky note. And now I can't show you guys. But I wrote a list of like videos that I want to get done. And it's like I gotten 2 videos knocked off of it so far. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, I canceled this one. So 3 videos are knocked off of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 more videos to go. Where have I been? I had a busy week last week. I forgot about my friend's, I had to get tires put on my car. That cost me $800. Friday, my friends came over because my one set of friends is having a baby and we were doing like baby shower prep stuff. Saturday was the baby shower. Sunday, I worked on a video. Monday, I was getting unpacked from Boston. Tuesday, I was beat from work. And then Wednesday was a day off. So that was my week last week. Monday, I unpacked from Boston. Plus, I also made the Q&A video. Can I have a pretzel? You didn't take it. Anyway. Monday, I unpacked from Boston. Tuesday, I was beat from coming to work. Or going to work. Wednesday, I took a day off. Thursday, I edited the first half of that Poco video. Oh, also, Wednesday, I went to the tire place and got my tires done. And then Friday, I had people over, so I had to clean my house. So anyway, that's what's up. Also, don't ask me why I threw the pretzel at the camera. All right, there's nobody here. So let's, naturally, now that nobody's here, let's get started. Oh, Edgar King's here. Great. Edgar King, we're not playing today. We are going to be watching a podcast from the Brawl Stars devs. So if you don't want to sit here and watch a Brawl Stars podcast with the devs, you can leave. But do not sit here and annoy me. Yeah. Yeah, Dino, I wanna be more consistent about doing YouTube shit, but as an adult, I have a busy ass life and I cannot wait for the summer to end so people don't want to hang out and they can just leave me the fuck alone so I can do what I want to do. Because right now, it's like we're like getting to the end of like the nice weather. It's October now. Well, tomorrow will be October. And it's gonna get shitty out real quick. And when it's terrible out, like when it's cold and rainy, people don't want to hang out on the weekends. And then I'll be like free to do whatever the hell I want, whenever the hell I want. I won't have yard work to keep up on. I just have to keep my house clean and work on videos. It'll be nice. Also, Christmas and holidays will be coming up, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I think October is going to be a good month for us. I want October to be the best month the channel has ever had. Truthfully, I do. And we'll talk about that probably next week. I'll talk about that. That's on the to-do list. It's been raining 24/7 here for like a month. Don't steal candy from kids. Keep the candy. Let's make sure I'm set up. Let's make sure I am set up to record. Is the big thing coming up? It is. Technically, we're working on it right now, buddy. Yeah, we're all set up. We're ready to go. I just haven't. I won't officially announce it till probably next week, though. I finally paid for the first time. Is October is October Pass worth it? I think all Brawl Passes are worth it. What's the skin for the October Brawl Pass? Ronaldo bike Skibbity Dynamite. Sweet. All right. What does that even look like? Bro. You would think that as a Brawl Stars YouTuber, I know this shit, but I do not. I do not pay attention. I just work here, man. Brawl Stars Spooky Tail Season. Oh, okay. Scary Tales, it's called. This guy. That's that one. Yeah, it's fine. If you play Surge, it's fine. It reminds me a lot of Paladin Surge. It does it. It gives a lot of Paladin Surge vibes, with a little extra flair, like the cape and the thing hanging out the front. We'll call it a willy, but it's not a willy. It's a piece of fabric. He's got a whole sword. I mean, normal Surge does too. That's too slow. Alrighty, chat. So, here's the thing. There is a YouTube video that has been uploaded onto the Brawl Stars main channel. It's actually a podcast. You know, their podcast, Time to Explain. It's called Time to Explain. So their podcast has been uploaded, and originally I was going to do a whole... I haven't done... Dude, this intro is so scuffed. Oh my god. All right, take two. All right, chat. So, if you haven't noticed, there is actually a upload of a podcast, the Time to Explain podcast, on the Brawl Stars main channel. Now, today we are going to be checking out all the important stuff here. Nothing like crazy that I like want to skip over, but I can't watch all of it because it is 3 hours long. It's like 2 hours and 43 minutes, which is an insane amount of time. If I were to sit here and watch this entire thing and yap all through, it would take 6 hours to do. So we're not going to do that. I'm going to cut out the crap that doesn't matter, the things that don't care, like esports and like the prize pool for esports and stuff like that. We're going to skip over that stuff, and we're going to get down to the important things, and I'll give you guys my opinion on it as we go through. So, if you haven't... So, if you have watched the podcast already, let me know what you think about everything down in the comments. If you haven't, then stick around, watch it with us, and I'll let you guys know what I think. Anyway, let's get through this. Chat, I suck. Live take 2. How'd that go? Yeah, it's fine. If not, I can redo it. I can redo it in post. All right, chat, let's go. Get down to brass tacks. We finally get to watch the important stuff in the podcast. But you said a lot. Whatever. I had to say something while you did the intro. What'd you say? I didn't see it. Reached a milestone. What? Okay. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's get started. Let's get through it. All right. So we'll start with the intro, and then it goes into talking about ranked. So we'll listen to ranked for a little bit. I don't think I really care too much about the distribution graph. And then yeah, we'll figure it out as we go. All right, let's see when we get bored, and we'll skip around. Ready? Let's go.
Is there a coin shortage in Brawl Stars and no more permanent features? You'll find out the answer during this episode, so keep watching.
Alrighty, here we are.
Hello everyone, welcome to Time to Explain. We've been a long time without a podcast, and I think it was worthy enough that I will bring those special guests today. Welcome, Teddy. Maybe you can
Danny is not bald.
introduce yourself to the community.
Yeah, well, some of you guys might know me already from the Brawl Stars Championship. I've been casting over there for a few years now, and yeah, I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you for having me.
Cool, and how about you, Reddy?
So yeah, either he shaved afterwards or he hasn't shaved at all and he lied, which would be a scam.
What's up, y'all? I'm Ready Set. You probably also know me from the Brawl Stars Championship, and I stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/ReadySet.
We are joined also by Adrian, game designer.
Yeah.
So Adrian's the guy who does all the balancing and stuff for context. So if he talks about like game balancing or whatever, he's gonna if they talk about it, he's gonna be the guy that talks about it.
Yeah, you have me to blame for all the balance changes and all the OP brawlers.
Oh, he was
Put the
gonna
target
talk
on
about
you,
that.
man.
Yeah, I do.
I love
Adrian.
I'm taking the heat from everyone else, you know.
Yeah, and then Frank.
Hi, I'm Frank.
Best intro ever.
Hell yeah, I was gonna say that actually. Danny took the words right out of my mouth.
It's like for this episode, we have a lot of questions. We don't have a certain topic just because like it was being so long. We had an episode before, but just some tips for you guys, like increase the speed of this video like by 1.5. That's life hacks for you. And then if you don't speak English, then trigger the subtitles. And I hope you you could understand at least that sentence. So then let's jump straight into questions. There's a lot of questions here to be answered, spicy ones, casual ones. But I divided them by social media. So we have Twitter.
All right, so we'll start with the improvements to rank. We'll stick with that.
First question
That seems to
from
be
Spen.
the important thing.
He has actually
They start with one of the biggest Brawl Stars YouTuber. That shit's biased.
4 questions. Will there be improvement to the top percentage of ranked masters as for any pro, semi-pro, the pro level of games is this?
All right, so I have a feeling they're not going to make any changes to this. They're going to say something along the lines of, it's a small percentage of people. We feel like it's not worth dedicating the resources to making that feature change. We'd rather focus on things that are going to affect more of the broad community. Generally, that is their stance on the top 10, like top percentages of ladder and top percentages of ranked. And I don't think anything's going to change their stance on that.
Standard of gold in Power League. So basically improvements to ranked. Maybe Frank, do you want to take this one?
Interesting. Yeah, in general, we, of course,
There was a hard cut here. I want to show you guys. He was not paying attention at all when he was being spoken to. And then they hard cut to him facing the other direction.
yeah, in general, we, of course, to take a step back, right, we had this moment where we transitioned from the previous format Power League to rank earlier this year. And the main purpose of it was to transition to a world where just more people are playing ranked. And we set ourselves a goal for this, like to actually measure how many people are playing. And that goal was more than achieved. So instead of just like...
Yeah, they did a good job with that. They got more people interested in ranked by adding exclusive rewards to it. And then on top of that, making it a bit more casual at the early part. But that's not what we're talking about here. Quit waffling, bro. We know what the goal was. You said it multiple times.
Like a number of below 5% of our daily active players playing ranked, which is like, 5 people out of a room with 100 people, which is not great. Now there's, a significant amount of people playing double digits, which is great. And so we want to sustain that. That's kind of an important piece. Like creating features for just 5% of the community is kind of wasteful, and locking content behind that is also wasteful. So
Isn't that what I said?
we will probably not go back to a world where we have a very exclusive thing going on. However, we do think that rank could be better. We would like rank to be very competitive on the high end. And yeah, we're looking into options, what we can do with that. We don't have anything yet to talk about, but it's something we're actively thinking about right now.
I think
All right, so from Frank, that's a bit of a non-answer. He did say that like benefiting only 5% of the community was a bit of an issue, and they don't really think that's like a priority. But also, he said at the very end there that like they want it to be more competitive, but they don't have plans for it. So all in all, he said a little bit of what I said, where they don't want to dedicate resources to a small percentage of the community, but also he kind of like left the door open a little bit to be like, well, we do want it to be competitive. So it's like, it's kind of non-committal on his part to say one way or the other, which is a bit unfortunate. I would like to see a little more commitment to what your answers are going to be, if you're instead of just waffling around, you know?
When it comes to ranked, like the issue with the top level gameplay is that you have people that are able to more easily achieve that high level where they're able to get to masters. And so while it is now way more accessible for people to achieve masters, it really affects the matchmaking at that top level. So if you do want to be a top player and you get to that top level, once you've reached masters, those are the only people you're going to match with. So if you say, hey, I want to push, as high of elo as I can, doesn't matter if you're like 30,000 elo, you're still going to be facing those 9,000 elo players, and the matchmaking doesn't get any more competitive.
Yeah, I think that's just a matter of fact of life. When you're on top of the pyramid, there's just not more people. So it's really like, that's that. So yeah, again.
What is that answer, bro? I get what he's saying. He's saying that when you push up that high, there's less of a player pool to pull from, so you're going to see the same people regardless of the situation. But what was that answer? He said that's life, bro. Tough. Deal with it.
And once you're on top of the pyramid, you're on top of the pyramid. There's nothing you can really do about that. So either you go to extreme length for the matchmaking times, or, well, I don't know what the alternative. Have a bigger pool of players, but there's only so much to do about that.
I did say, well, as far as like a bigger pool of players, I wouldn't want to see them match people in like legendary or whatever with people that are in masters. It's like you can't widen the player pool like matchmaking wise to try to alleviate that. It's like Frank said, there is really nothing you can do about the matchmaking issues, about pairing up with the same people and stuff, because that's just the way it works. To expand it to lower ranks being paired with higher ranks is not fair to the people in the lower ranks trying to push up. You know what I mean? Like, let's scale it down. If you're a gold player, you don't want to get paired against bronze players because A, you're not going to gain any elo from it, and B, it's not worth your time. You'd rather get paired against like gold players and diamond players, you know?
Maybe to spend second question, which is more about the distribution of the elo ranks. That is a very natural distribution of how numbers just are distributed. That's not changing significantly season over season. You have, of course, a lion's share of people are on bronze 1. And then it's falling down quickly. And then there's some logical steps, right? When you cross from gold into diamond, there's, of course, a fall off because of how we structured the whole system. Because, more people have 12 brawlers at max power level.
Yeah, so his question, like, for people listening, he asked to have some graphs, and we have prepared like the distribution graphs of, this one. It's like, this is like, is the last.
All right, so these are the distribution graphs of the ranks. So they're going from season 18 and season 24. The blue bar is season 18. The yellow bar is season 24. Move my face out of the way. So like he said, a lot of people in the first seasons when everybody was bronze, everybody stayed kind of bronze. It's gotten a little more even in the most recent season. It looks like gold 1 is kind of evened out. And then obviously, like he said, after diamond, it becomes more heavily, like more people are in diamond in season 24 than were in season 18. Probably because more people are pushing up and more people are leveling up their brawlers, so they qualify. So yeah, that all makes sense.
Season of Power League, and then the last season of Ranked. Like you can see, like the blue one is Power League, and then you can see how like a lot of the people.
Okay, the blue one was Power League. Got it.
Like in bronze, and
okay, so since the blue one's Power League, that means people are in bronze because they weren't playing. And now it's a little more evenly distributed because people are actually playing
bronze
ranked.
3. meaning they were not playing, but also like the legendary, like you can see like the the blue one is almost invisible as in Masters, but you can see that although there are a lot of people there, it's not like a huge amount of people. Like it still is a very tiny percentage.
They didn't
And
cook once they
still,
talked about the Hypercharge
like-
Unleashed part. We'll get there. We'll get there. GS, what's going on is we're gonna be reacting to the things that I find interesting. So, like, I know one of the next sections talks about esports. We'll listen to this improvements in late game stuff, and then when they start talking about the esports stuff, we'll skip over that. And then, yeah, we'll be jumping around a little bit. We're not gonna watch the entire thing; it's super long.
We are aware of the problem still. Like I know that the pro players they want to feel that the masters should feel competitive, like that every match should be sweaty. And I think considering like this graph, you can see that we don't need to tweak anything in below masters, right? Or it could be like maybe that we only change something in masters and that could solve the problem already. And
So what you need to do is, I would say, at Masters, you need to drop the modifiers and make it a lot more competitive. Make it much more like that, like Power League system up at Masters. If they don't want to touch anything below, honestly, my opinion is probably Legendary should have the modifiers dropped as well. That way, it's that way people who it makes it more rigorous to actually make Masters without the modifiers. You know what I mean? Like drop it here. That way, only the people who are actually qualified for Masters make Masters. But you guys can't even see where my mouse is. Oops. All right. So what I was saying is that they don't want to like get rid of modifiers here.
then it just like
Stop it. Get rid of modifiers here. But in my opinion, it should probably start at Legendary, right? Because then you make it so that you actually you need skill to get through Legendary into Masters, and then make everything in Masters competitive. Modifiers aren't competitive. Yeah, that's why I'm saying drop it. Drop it earlier than Masters, but if you want to make Masters more competitive, then you drop modifiers there.
they speed run to masters, and then that's where ranked starts for them.
Yep.
Could be one solution, but we are aware of the problem, and it's something that we want to tackle eventually.
Yeah, I think there's just a practical reality, really, that at some point, even in that sub 1% that is in Masters, there's still skill differences.
Mm-hmm.
And at some
Of course there are. It's always gonna be
there's
like
just,
that.
again, you have this compromise between matchmaking times and match length. Do you want to wait 30 minutes to get a 90-second match? And that is that will always be the compromise. And I understand that people seek more competitive games.
But you
then
can cook an
that's
egg on
probably
it.
not ranked. That's probably esports. So that then maybe you have to look outside of the game to find competitions, like on Match Arena, for example, etc. So that we have solutions for that. It's just that they're not necessarily inside the game.
Yeah, and then his
I really don't like modifiers where you get shot +2 ammo because of Griff and Leon mains. Yeah.
following
Can be
question is, I know it's important to look at the majority of the player base, but the hardcore player are feeling really left
Dude,
out.
they're only answering Spend LC questions. What the hell is this shit?
Are there any plans to improve the late game for us, the 0.1%, ladder reworks, ranked rework, etc.?
I think I can quickly touch on the trophy system.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like, so the trophy system today, it's all right? It works. It's one of these things that we had in the game since forever. It's a staple of Brawl, and it's not going to go anywhere as a system. However, today there's, I think, two desires which are competing with each other. There's on one side the average player, which is a lion's share of our players. Those guys want to push trophies. And right now they're getting still stuck relatively early in the system, because then things get really, really sweaty. And on the other side, you have endgame players who want to push high trophies, that want to compete with each other on that high level. At the same time, matchmaking is incredibly slow. You see that when you go to Twitch and you try to find some people who like wait 10 minutes, play one match, wait 10 minutes, play one match, which is super unsatisfying. Makes it also unattractive to actually stream on Twitch when you push trophies. So the question is, can we find a system that is solving both? Make it more attractive for people to push trophies, give more people the chance to push trophies.
if you want to make it more attractive for people to push trophies and give like incentive to push trophies, you need to give rewards for pushing trophies. Our rewards right now are shit. The whole reason for pushing trophies used to be the power points. You remember those? Or the power coins, the purple, the pink ones. I can't remember what they're called. But those used to be the rewards. And we used to get a bunch of those for pushing all of our brawlers to 500, 550, 600. And then they changed it so only 10 brawlers count. And then they changed it to Bling and they nerfed the shit out of it. So now if you push 10 brawlers to 700, you get like 600 Bling, which is nothing. You can't buy anything with it. Yes, star points. That's what they were called. Now it's Bling and you don't get shit for Bling. There's no reason to push trophies. Like, as a casual player, as me, a casual player who hasn't played the game in damn near a week. Well, I played today for the first time, but we're not going to talk about that. But if you're a casual player, there's no reason to push trophies because you're not going to get rewarded for it because the Bling isn't worth shit. You might as well just play ranked and get, your shitty rank drops that are probably going to be Bling anyway. The problem isn't necessarily the trophies themselves. The problem is you don't reward people for earning the trophies.
And at the same time have something competitive at the end where people can compete for a rank or high score or something like that. And it's something we are actively working on right now.
It didn't answer anything, man. You didn't answer anything. I sat there and listened to that intently, and you said, we're working on it. I get it. I just gave you the answer. You need to give people a reason to push. That's, all right, not to be too negative, but that's my view of it. You need to give people a reason to want to push trophies. You don't want to push trophies because right now there's no reason to. I'm not going to bother spending my time pushing to 800, 900, 1,000 trophies. Not that I could push to 1,000 trophies, but I'm not going to waste my time pushing 10 brawlers that high because there's literally no reward to it as a casual player. The whole reason to push up right now is for self-gratification because you don't get rewarded for it right now, which is a joke.
And his last question, the limited...
Bling is pointless. What do you... Bling is pointless. Like, what do you do with them? Buy skins? Yeah, don't get me started enough on rank drops. So... I don't think Bling is totally pointless. Hear me out, Edgar. I don't think Bling is totally pointless in this situation. I think that it would definitely reward people and give people an incentive to push up if they could buy all the skins they want if you rewarded them with a sufficient amount of Bling. Say if you push 10 brawlers to 800 and you got, 1,500 Bling for that, that's basically, with your Brawl Pass, that's basically a super rare skin every season or an epic skin every other season. That would be a perfectly good reward and give people an incentive to actually want to get good at the game and push up. But especially considering the quality of skins that have been coming out, and you could get a couple of those for free every other season. You know what I mean? But right now the system's not set up for that. The system right now gives you like 500, 600 Bling, and it's a joke.
limited events.
Imagine grinding for Legendary 3 for that ranked star drop and all you get is 100 Bling. Yep. That's what happens, bro. That's what happens. All right, last spat I'll see is limited events. Crazy. All right. So now they're going to start talking about the limited events. Now, here's something that I have personally had a gripe with. So the limited events like SpongeBob and to a lesser extent, the Godzilla events, I think have been kind of abysmal. So specifically SpongeBob. SpongeBob feels like it was purposely put out to be a cash grab. From the start of it, I was like, this looks cool, but let's see how it goes. And then as soon as it dropped and, the cash was in the shop and all the offers were like 10,000 cash or more, and they weren't giving us meals every single day, the Happy Meals every single day, I was like, this is not good. And then the mode that dropped with it was bad. And all in all, it just feels like the whole event was set up to make as much money as possible. And I'm not a big fan of it. It actually pushed me to not play the season at all for the last week because I just was like, I don't feel like grinding this. The modes are ruined because if that SpongeBob modifier is on Brawl Ball, I don't want to play Brawl Ball. If it's on Gem Grab, I don't want to play Gem Grab, all that stuff. And then on top of that, it's like I feel bad because I'm not contributing to my club. So I was like, whatever. I don't feel like doing it. So like it's whatever. Like it really turned me off from playing Brawl Stars this season, if I'm totally honest. Like I was just not a fan of the way they had the system set up. And I would say that the Godzilla event was like that a little bit, but to a lesser extent, because for the most part, modifiers, they were more broke. The mutations, they were a little more broken, but they were also a little bit more interesting. And while it sucked that not every brawler had them, they were kind of cool. The only thing that sucked about it was like, you know, a handful of them dominated the meta and kind of ruined the game in that regard. But I don't think it was, I don't know why, but I think it didn't feel as oppressive, like as much of a cash grab as this one did. This one felt like way more of a cash grab. Mainly, I think that's because of the offers that were in the shop. Like we were showing those offers and we were like, yo, we could get star drops and hyper star drops or on hypercharges and a skin just by playing the game. That's crazy. And then turns out you could get one of those offers free to play. You could get one, maybe two, if you got a really cheap offer for that second one. Where the last time it was kind of like you could get the skins out of the eggs. You could get the skins out of the eggs. If you got lucky, you get the important one. But at the very least, you know, if you played every day and your club played every day, you got a hypercharge skin from your club event. You know? And that's another thing. The Primo skin's not even a hypercharge skin. So it's really not that fancy if you think about it. So like, I don't know. This event just really felt really scummy in my opinion. Like not to mince words, it felt like a major cash grab and I was not a fan of it. And I haven't played in a week because of it. All right. With that long rant out of the way, let's see what they say about popular events, limited time events, and maybe permanent features coming. Let's go.
Have been crazy popular, but the biggest drawback has to be that there hasn't been many permanent features, which is like one of the trending topics right now after we announced the SpongeBob collaboration.
And SpongeBob is off to a fantastic start, by the way. So it's like
We have made so much money, by the way.
it's really incredible. All these, I mean, we are obviously super excited about the temporary events, right? SpongeBob now. But before, Godzilla was crazy good for the game. The classic Brawl event was also great for the game, getting us through summer in a better way than ever before. So those temporary events are very important.
I forgot about Classic Brawl. Classic Brawl, the only thing that made me mad about Classic Brawl was the fact that they tried to get away with only giving us 10 boxes for the entire season. Like they were literally, they were going to give us 11 boxes. They were going to give us 11 boxes for that entire season till the community was like, what the hell is this? You mean if I miss one day, I can't get a box? That's crazy. And then they eventually ended up buckling and they gave us way more than that. But, other than that, I don't think Classic Brawl was that bad. It didn't feel that pay to win, and the rewards were not like all that. We quickly realized the mega boxes were in a heavily nerfed state. So like at the end of the day, if you didn't spend money, you weren't missing out on all that. Where this, you're missing out on skins that are only going to be cash available, and they made it so you could only get one, maybe two, in the SpongeBob season. They got too much into temporary events and less into permanent stuff. Yeah. I hope they say that they want to add permanent stuff. We'll get there in a second here. I just keep yapping, which is a problem, which is why I said we can't watch this entire podcast. Classic Brawl felt like a fever dream. Classic Brawl was decent. For a limited time event, I would say Classic Brawl was decent. I wouldn't hate if they brought mega boxes back for another season, totally honest. All right, let's go.
But I think the learning from the last half year or so as a team is that we maybe over-indexed a little bit on the temporary content because like we do feel that there's issues in the game and that there's systems in the game we want to make better. So we are...
Oh my god, I just hibachied my stream. Ah! All right, we're back. Sorry about that. I was going to pause and say I'm glad that they recognize that they have focused too much on the temporary events. I'm glad they recognize that they focus too much on the temporary events, and they're saying it right here and now. I'm glad that they recognize that. They're probably not going to give us an answer about any permanent stuff, if I'm totally honest. They're not going to give us any answers about anything being permanent, because they haven't given us any answers officially at all. But I'm glad that they recognize that they've leaned too heavily in the temporary stuff. Now, let's see what he says.
Yeah, we acknowledge that, and we feel the same in the team. It's like, hey, there's bigger things we would like to change, but we have all this temporary content. So we need to find a better balance. So I guess what I'm saying is that for the looking over the next year or so, and we're going to talk more about that in a separate video, but over the next year or so, we're going to find a better balance for this between temporary additions to the game.
They said later in the video there's no coin shortage because they give us more coins. Does that make sense to you? No, it doesn't. I want to see how they say it, but no. You can't just say we give more coins, therefore there's no coin shortage. When you've added 25 brawlers to the game and you added a feature that makes you spend 5,000 coins just to get one piece of a brawler to max them out. Are all the SpongeBob skins going to be exclusive? Yes, they are. And they're not exclusive to this event. They're exclusive for cash only. So you can't buy them like real world money, not gems, not bling, only real world money. So think like Challenger Colt, kind of like that, where you're going to only pay $3.99 for that skin or whatever.
Which are really hype and which really help the game in the bigger scheme of things and making permanent improvements.
You can't buy with my understanding was they're charging dollar amounts, not gems. My understanding was they were charging dollars, not gems. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe they'll say something here. But my understanding was it was going to be dollars, not gems.
And hopefully some of those things will already start showing with the next update. Yeah, that's that.
I'm curious to hear how you quantify those, like the Godzilla and the classic Brawl event, as being like better for the game. Like, what are the metrics that you look at?
Oh, for us, it's like we largely look at engagement metrics. So engagement metrics are, how easy is it for new players to find the game because there's so much buzz out there. Are old players coming back to the game? So re-engagement. So that's super easy to measure metrics for us. And both of these numbers then, they ultimately become those two numbers and the retention of existing players. That becomes our daily active players, our monthly active players.
We actually have the graph here. Just a tip from Reddit. I will remove the numbers and don't question about the numbers just because we don't want to share with competitors. But we want to show the trends. The trends are...
So this is when they did the Godzilla season, right? December, February. This jump right here. And you see how the line jumps up and then it never goes back below this point here. Like we were trending upwards, huge jump here, then another huge jump, and then this was Classic Brawl, or no, this would have been Classic Brawl right here. So maybe this was Godzilla right here, and then this is Classic Brawl over here, June, July. But you can see Classic Brawl kind of spikes back down, maybe because of summer holiday and stuff like that.
Real still. Here, like December 22 is when we remove boxes, and then here we're in a good state. Like the game was quite big for mobile games and like in the industry in general. But then you can see like when you started doing like community events and like you can see that the baseline increases, right? It's not only the peak, but when the event dies or like the novelty wears off.
They should add more SpongeBob skins? No, because they're going to charge more for the SpongeBob skins.
To have like those big newsworthy thing that like it catches the attention of someone who's not a Brawl player or like someone who stops playing Brawl for a while. They see like, oh, there's like John Cena there. What is happening? And then like they come back to the game and then they stay. So I think it's really important like to bring more to bring awareness that this game exists and then it's big. So it's,
what is Brawl collabing with Family Guy? They probably won't collab with Family Guy because it's not family friendly for them.
Again, after we removed boxes, we added mastery and we added bling, and our trend was just going down, right? Even though those are like quality of life as much.
Things I was thinking about earlier, content being added, and it's a lot of temporary stuff. But then a lot of the long-term content didn't do as well before. Like, many of those like big changes to quality of life. And even when I think about like game modes that aren't tied to like an event, very often they're doing fine for a few days, but then people kind of, you know, payload, volleyball, like they don't really stay popular for long. Whereas for the game modes, I feel like it's worked much better for the events as well, and I feel like we really see the results too.
Well, that's because they tie whatever the specific mechanic for the event is to the game mode. So, you know, to get your mutation eggs, you had to play City Smash. To get some of your star tokens, you had to play Drum Roll and Mirror Match. To get some of your Krabby Cash, you got to play Trio Showdown and Jellyfishing. So, like, they tie the mechanic for the event to the new game modes to force people to play them, you know? Like, of course, the activity of those modes is going to be a little bit higher because people are engaging with it just to get their rewards. And then there's going to be modes that you don't enjoy, like Drum Roll, for example. Most people didn't like Drum Roll. Once you got your reward, you dipped out. You didn't touch the mode again. There are a few people that did enjoy it, but also it wasn't for trophies. So when you're playing it, you were only doing it for fun. Forcing isn't good. Yeah, I know. I agree. But Teddy was trying to make the point that, like, the new modes do better in the events, and it's like there's a reason for that.
Yeah, I think people like something we also as a team feel pretty strongly about. And it's like it's sometimes hard. Like people like Adrian, Danny, and myself, we are pretty hardcore gamers, right? We like to compete. You know,
but hardcore.
Don't sell yourself short, Danny. Don't sell yourself short.
So best Piper. No. Like so we're really competitive players. We also play competitive games outside of Brawl, right? We're always trying out the latest competitive games. We're always like we're into esports. So but the majority of our players are not. And that's just like something we have to acknowledge. And there's sometimes this misconception that, yeah, but these hardcore people, they pay the bills. No. Yes, of course, they're important players for us. Yes, they're more likely to be payers as well to keep us afloat. But the lion's share of everything comes from this big group in the middle. So if we cannot keep the lion's share entertained, nothing else works here. You know, we have to reduce the team size. We're not getting the support from the company. We cannot invest as much in marketing. We cannot invest as much into esports. So it's like a whole, like, we need to make this the most sustainable business ever. And for that to achieve, we need to entertain the masses, right? That everyone will tell you the same. You need to reach a mass audience. Yeah. And guess what they like? Chaos. Chaos is really fun.
Yeah, Edgar.
So,
No, it's not, bro. Chaos is so annoying. Nah, I'm just kidding. Like, there's some fun in it sometimes. It depends on the mode, of course. And, like, where the chaos is coming from. For example, Mutations was not fun because Rico and Ruffs made it unfun to play because you couldn't even move in the map. But, like, Drum Roll was a little bit more fun. Like, I enjoyed some Drum Roll. It wasn't the best mode ever. But it was fun because, like, it was very spammy. It was very in your face. Perfect example. Early Wipeout, before they added the lower requirement and they made it like more of a standoffy map, it used to be like super close maps and short range brawlers were very good in it. And you could just run right up the map, get a couple kills, then you die yourself, respawn, and get right back into the match. That's how Wipeout used to be, like when it first came out. And then they made some changes to it here and there. And now it's like, it just feels like slower paced bounty. That's all it feels like.
So you know, like when we did the Godzilla event the first time with the mutations, it was broken.
Yeah, I'm gonna say some of them went a bit overboard, but I think the fundamental idea was still good.
Yes, yeah, it was. It was like, and I would actually argue now SpongeBob is already a few steps ahead of that from these learnings, right? There's likely not going to be one or two brawlers right now in this event that's just stick out in the game modes.
You know, just all the assassins being able to kill you at 50% HP, or, you know, people just hanging out in the smoke of Trio Showdown and constantly giving themselves power cubes and shit like that. You know, nothing's broken. It's just, you know, it's just more balanced. You know, instead of one brawler being broken, it's a whole class of brawlers being broken.
The 3v3 showdown.
That's a mouth.
Or trio showdown. You know, you will likely have a much more diverse meta there. Whatever the abilities of the characters are, whatever, you know, and all the characters are now equally involved and so on and so forth. So we're trying to learn and make things better. But yes, chaos is really fun. Also for us, it's really fun to log in and have a different experience for a change. So we don't want this to go anywhere. At the same time, we want people to play ranked or who don't want that chaos. They still have a way to play the game, and that's fine. But there shouldn't be an expectation that we only focus on this normal play experience. But as we already said, we want to make permanent improvements.
Yeah.
And I just want to touch really quick, because we said chaos, but you also mentioned it. I think it's not only about chaos, it's about actually feeling that the game you're playing with the characters that you love is different. Like they behave a little bit differently, but it's still familiar. I think that's a really enticing kind of proposition for a lot of players where, oh, okay, I really love Edgar, but now my Edgar is behaving a little bit in a cooler way or differently, or I feel stronger. Like that's a cool moment, even if only temporary. So
I think Mutations did that better than the SpongeBob power-ups. I feel like SpongeBob power-ups just kind of feel a bit lame compared to Mutations, where like need to spawn 2 bears, or like Pam Pam had unlimited ammo, shit like that. The Mutations were a bit more interesting, and that's because they were tailored to each individual brawler, where SpongeBob power-ups are designated to a class, and every brawler in that class benefits from them. While it's more fair that every brawler gets that type of change, it's not as fun because it's a lot more generic. So like Jesse shooting out bubbles and Tara shooting out bubbles essentially is the same thing. Oh, actually, Tara gets chum ball. Jesse shooting out bubbles and Mr. P shooting out bubbles, it's the same thing. And it's not that exciting,
I think that's what we have to keep in mind. Chaos is great, but also familiarity is important in that chaos, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think those SpongeBob power-ups have been a nice non-invasive way. Also pretty rewarding, considering that you don't have so many things to collect now. With the Godzilla event, there were so many different mutations, and now you can get one ability and you can use it on multiple brawlers, and it's just kind of like...
So like what Reddy said's saying here does have some weight to it. It is true that it's a little more fair for the free-to-play player in that regard, that you unlock it once and you get it for all the brawlers in that category. I do agree with that. But like I said, it was a lot more fun with Mutations because they were more tailor-made to the brawlers themselves.
A little bonus, it doesn't really fundamentally change how they work. Remember Meg shooting out like 1 billion shots, or or Colonel Ruffs with his shot bouncing everywhere. I mean, you're not even using him the same, but now it's like more of an accent, right? Helps the brawler do what they do better in not a fundamentally different way.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's also a cool side effect, because when we do events like that and we try out new mechanics, right, sometimes they lead to permanent improvements. Like the mech example is like, it started with the mutation, but then we're like, hey, it's actually really fun to play mech like that.
Way better, like
And guess what? So we introduced it to our main kit, and we slightly changed the main kit because it's just more fun.
Yeah.
And right now I think mech is doing really well.
Yeah, like
I actually kind of like that point, that Mutations allows them to play with the balancing of a brawler, and that can affect how a brawler gets reworked in the future. And I actually didn't know that about Meg, is that they kind of just made her mutation into her actual kit. I find that very interesting, and I do like that regards, but you're not going to get that out of these SpongeBob power-ups, I don't think anyway, because, like I said, they're so generic, and they fit to every brawler in that class. How could you possibly want to tack something like Spatula onto any brawler, So if they do something like this in the future, I would hope it's a little more tailored to some of the other brawlers, Or maybe, I don't know if you can make it any less generic, but maybe somehow find a way to make it less generic, but also apply to brawlers across the class. I don't know, man.
Of course, it's tied to the power level as well. Like, yeah, she's stronger, but it's also, she feels more fun to play, and therefore the popularity increases by a lot. Because she was one of our most unpopular brawlers before the change, and even before the previous change as well. But now she's actually more higher / middle of the pack, so she's where we want her to be. And yeah, I mean, Meg's a great example. Rico inspired the Hypercharge, of course, in a toned-down version, because we didn't want the cross-map bounces killing everyone, so yeah.
And then I guess like answering also to Reddy's
Whoa, shit,
question,
Brawl
like,
time, what up?
The metrics, or like what we look at to measure success. So like you can see like in April here, like that was the 100 star drops event, and then you can see how much it increased the baseline, right? But also like they're like,
All right,
it created like
we're gonna move on forward. See what they talk about.
Things that are happening in the pop culture, and then we became public marketing. A call for that,
right? Like it's the longevity of the game. Like, yes, we could making temporary things, and yes, we have these spikes. Like,
amazing, and it has. You can know the kids are not paying attention to the class because they were all opening the star drops. It's like you can see the effect of this one thing, how much it's spreading organically, right? So I think it's we do that because the results are amazing, and it has been growing the game basically with that. And then of course, like underneath, we will try now to add like those permanent features like the quality of life, because then we think it's important and they still help our metrics.
yeah, it's basically for the long.
All right, so I skipped around a little bit, but what I think Danny's trying to get at here is that they want to add some permanent features and then continue to do the limited time events on the top. The limited time events pull new people in, and then the new features will keep them playing, is I think their goal. I think that's what he's trying to get at here. Hottest brawlers definitely tick.
Longevity, right?
ARJ,
It's
what
the
up?
Longevity of the game. Like, yes, we could making temporary things, and yes, we have these spikes, but eventually, like, you know, there is a burnout factor there as well. If the game fundamentally doesn't improve, then that's not going to be exciting in the long run either. So I think we have importance of both.
I want to say one more thing about like collaborations, etc., as well as something more from the marketing and the business side.
So yeah, they do need to add more permanent features. I've been saying this for a little while. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have been echoing this, is that the game's doing popular. It's doing well right now, but you can only like count on that for so long before people get bored and burn out and move on to another game, especially in the mobile market where games are coming out all the time and people will uninstall things on your phone, off their phone. And once it's uninstalled, they generally won't come back. It takes a while. So I think they need to start. They really need to light a fire under themselves to get some permanent features going, because dragging their feet on them right now is not the play.
When you're trying to find new players for a game, where do you look? You know, like, and for us, one of the approaches on the marketing side is to find, so what is our brand? How do people feel about our brand? And what are other brands they like? The type of people who enjoy Brawl. And then it's like, oh, SpongeBob, they like SpongeBob. And then SpongeBob has a different audience. So they have millions and millions of watchers, viewers, possible players who never played Brawl, who don't even know about Brawl, but they know about SpongeBob. You know, that gives us a tool to reach people and audiences who never heard about Brawl in the past. And you can actually see that with our Brawl Talk now, or even the videos afterwards. The Brawl Talk normally is trending in gaming around the world. When you look at YouTube, you know, you see the trending positions. But this time it trended in general. So we hit like the top 10 trending across the globe. And that is like so cool, including like Japan, where it's really, really hard as a non-Japanese video to hit into the top 10. So it's like these brand collaborations just help us to reach more people, just to create awareness about Brawl.
Like, how is that process typically like? Is it like you guys reaching out to, in this case, like Nickelodeon or Godzilla, or is it like...
All right, we're going to skip ahead a little bit. I'm done listening about this. So we kind of got our answer there. Basically, they need to add permanent features, but they still want to do limited time events because limited time events are very good at pulling people into the game. But they won't stay for long if you don't do permanent features. Where's Raspberry Jam? This is Raspberry Jam. I rebranded it because it was just a mouthful. And I don't know. Everything looks cleaner. So I rebranded this channel to just JAM-Brawl Stars. Will there be an investment in esports? Don't care about that. Why wasn't there a time to explain for so long? Don't care about that. Are you planning to show a roadmap for in the next Brawl Talk? We could listen to that real quick. I probably won't end up adding that to a video, but...
Anikilo. In the next Brawl Talk, we will explain the path of Brawl Stars, or is it no longer in the plans? Like, so he meant the roadmap.
We have a plan. It won't be in Brawl Talk. We will have a separate format for this time around. But we're already working on it.
So yes.
yes, we will talk about the roadmap.
We of course, like, we have an estimative date we want to release that, but we can't promise anything, but we want to be before the next Brawl Talk.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is a roadmap, but they don't want to announce it in Brawl Talk, and they don't have any plans to announce it anytime. Well, they can't disclose when they're going to announce it. Okay. What do we got next? Will there be an increase in the Brawl Stars champion size prize pool? Nope, don't care about that. When the team finds successful formula, how do you continue to innovate to do so? Do we want to listen to that? I don't know. Let's check it out. Let's see what they yap about. I feel like I'm dragging my feet on this.
Pro code Panda Casts. I already advertised this code anyway. Brawl Stars has had unprecedented growth due to the inclusion of star drops, hypercharges, and the collaboration events in the last 2 years. The key to this success has been continuous innovating and providing us with exciting content. The focus lately seems to be collaboration and events that focus on unlocking time-limited cosmetics and abilities, which means that there's a lot of development being done for something temporary and not something that can be enjoyed long-term. How confident is the team that the current cycle of content will continue to receive a positive reception? And the second part of the question is, when the team finds a formula that works, how do you continue to innovate so it doesn't stagnate?
Yeah, I think this is a good question.
Yeah.
And I think we touched on this a little bit already. But I think the long story short there is, yes, we realize there is a disconnect between how many temporary things we're doing versus evergreen. But then also I think I want to talk a little bit more about the second part, which is when a team finds a formula that does work, how do you continue to innovate as not to stagnate? And I think this is the real interesting part, because it's very common, I think, in any creative field that when you find something that does work, you kind of stick with it. You don't want to rock the boat. But we look at it like that's actually the worst thing to do. Like, we need to keep taking risks, and we need to keep surprising players, making them, have fun with the game, being surprised, like, in general, because otherwise...
I think it's very bold of him to say that, as the last 3 seasons have been precedented, or like the main focus of the last 3 seasons have been temporary events. Like, for the last 6 months, you guys have doubled and tripled down on temporary events. But you're sitting here in the podcast saying that we need to rock the boat, we need to do things different, when you haven't done anything different in the last 6 months. Like, dude, don't lie to me. You guys haven't innovated. That's the main gripe of we were a half hour into this podcast, and that's been the main gripe. You sat there for 15 minutes talking about how you need to add permanent features, but how the temporary events are good, and now we get here and you're like, we need to rock the boat to make things go well. You haven't rocked the boat in 6 months.
We're going to stagnate as well. Like, this formula, I don't think we believe there is a winning formula per se. It's just about innovating on what we already know, what works, and how is that even cooler, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think, like, the concepts we get, so for example, 100 star drops was probably the best community event we ever had. Why didn't we do the 200 star drops, or like the 101 star drops?
No, instead you made us vote on mega boxes versus star drops, and you were going to give us, what was it, another 100 star drops? But instead the community voted for mega boxes because you didn't give out enough mega boxes. Like, Danny, don't lie to me, Danny. I play this game. Don't lie to me, Danny. I know what you did.
Like, the next one we did was the thumbs up for Brawl, I think, which was trying something new, but still the same skeleton of the event, right? And that one didn't perform so well. What we believe is because, like, either people don't want to be positive, or like it's too much trouble to equip that and keep using the ping, or remembering you have to do that to participate, where the others is just like either collect star drops or just take down brawlers. Like, we always try to innovate a bit so it feels fresher, even though like maybe the concept or the core is the same.
Yeah, I think also with I guess a part of this question is also temporary events, right? So it's like that we already answered, but even with the temporary events, like, we're trying to learn from every single event.
Kank, thanks for the membership, man. Appreciate it. Everyone, W in chat for Kank. Thank you.
Godzilla was the first time we did this major thing, and when it comes to actually the workload that takes in the team, is something we discussed for a long time. It's like, should we really make such a heavy investment of people into something that goes away forever. And so we contemplated a lot, but then the positive impact it had was undeniable and quickly changed our mind that, hey.
All right, so at this point, I do want to point out that I sound like I'm negative about the temporary events. And maybe I am a bit negative because I am like salty about how the SpongeBob event has come to be. But I do also recognize how good the temporary events have been for the game. Like, the game has seen unprecedented growth since they started the temporary events. And I would not... You're going to get muted, by the way. Oh, Edgar. I thought I was muted. Anyway, I would be lying if I said that they weren't good for the game. The temporary events are good. They draw attention to the game. They get players interested. And I'm not going to lie, some of them can be hype. But 100%, they focus way too much on them. And to sit here and say that, oh, we're rocking the boat when you've done 3 back-to-back-to-back temporary events is a bit, I don't know, disingenuous, I guess, a little bit. So, yeah, I don't know. This section here, it ruffled my feathers the wrong way. So I just want to point that out. Like, I sounded negative talking all that crap when Adrian said that, but I'm just like Frank said, it's very good that the temporary events have performed the way they have.
It's totally worth it.
Yeah.
And today the team is staffed up. We're more people than ever. So we now have actually the team that can work on temporary events and make permanent improvements to the game. So it's not a this or that anymore. It's we're in a place now where we get to a place where we can do both. So, and then the rest is about iteration, make things better. Like when we released Godzilla, and on day 1, for most people there was nothing. Like, you didn't get a free mutation or anything. So it was like, damn, no, we should have thought about this. Wouldn't it be cooler to come into the game and there's something waiting for you, so you can immediately, you have a new toy, something to play with. And now...
So then when they released SpongeBob, they gave us 1 power meal, and it wasn't even guaranteed to be a power meal that day. Like, come on, man. Like, oh, every time they say something, it's like, dude, we were here. We saw this all happen. Like, what are you talking about? Oh, like, I'm trying not, like, legitimately, I'm trying not to be a jerk and be negative about this, but there's a lot. There's a lot of things they're saying that are just, like, not 100% true. Like this, talking about how, like, people didn't, like, we might have got a power meal the first day, sure. But then, like, you might not have gotten one the next day or the next day because it wasn't guaranteed to be a power meal the next day.
With SpongeBob on day
Katie cut all this out.
1, immediately there was something for free for everyone. So I think it's super important to iterate and make things better and better and better. And of course we're guided by our own experiences, but also by data.
Yes. And player reactions, of course.
Yeah.
And money. Okay, let's move on. All right, to ensure broadcast problems in esports won't happen again, we're not worried about that. What's the current percentage of new players in Brawl Stars? Don't really care about that, if I'm totally honest. I imagine it's going to be high because of the limited events. Like you said, they're bringing new people in, so we're not gonna worry about that. Which is the country with the most players in it at the moment? It's probably India or Russia, just because those are like big countries. Although Russia's supposed to be banned, right? Who knows? Anyway. Do we want to... I'm kind of interested in this, but I can watch this on my own time. Reddy and Teddy talking about the professional scene of Brawl Stars over the last 5 years. I'll watch that on my own time because that's a bit of a longer segment. That's almost 10 minutes there. Are you considering return? All right, so here they're talking about trophy reset. We'll listen about the trophy reset. So right now, trophy reset sucks. We get no rewards for it, and it only incentivizes pushing 10 brawlers as high as you can make them for no rewards. So let's see if they're going to go back to the old trophy reset system where you could push all of your brawlers for a decent chunk of rewards. My guess is they're going to say no, that most people don't play enough brawlers to justify going back to that, so we don't have a reason to want to go back to that.
Quack. You added in streaks for win more easier trophies, but have you thought about come back to old season reset? Maybe there's a lot of questions, so maybe we can break down.
Sure. Maybe I can take the first part. He said that we added win streaks for easier trophies. I think just to make clear, it's not easier to get high trophies. You get to where you need to be quicker. That's essentially what it does. It doesn't inflate the top end. It just makes you get there faster, which I think is a good experience both for the win streaker, but also for the players you're playing against.
All right, so I seen a quote of this on Twitter that someone said that it doesn't make any sense what he's saying here. I think what he means by that, all right, so like you have a skill level and I have a skill level. What win streaks do is it makes sure that when you're not matched up against somebody under your skill level, that you get more trophies for multiple matchups like that, and it pushes you into your desired or your skill level trophy range quicker. So for me, that means win streaks in theory should get me to the 600 trophy range quicker than before. But it's not going to help me get out of the 600 trophy range because it's very unlikely I'm going to win 2, 3, 4 games in a row when I'm in my skill range of trophies. I think that's what he's trying to say here, but he did a poor job of articulating it.
Because it means like if you are not supposed to be, let's say, low trophies, then you won't be there for long. So you're not ruining games in that sense for as long.
So what he's saying, just like what I said. So you have a pro player picking up a brand new brawler at 0 trophies. If they don't get pulled into that higher ranking, they're going to just shit on people all the way until 700, 800 trophies. And then people will actually start standing a chance against them if they're queuing up with just randoms. So that's what he was trying to say here.
And when we talk about old season reset, we're not going to do it in that way. We're never going to go back to that system. I never say never, but most.
And he also just said that we're never going to go back to that old season reset. Like I said, there's no reason for them to want to go back because I do agree with them that not everybody wants to play every brawler and push them up, especially nowadays. Back then, it kind of made sense because there was only 30, 40 brawlers in the game. Now there's 80-something brawlers. If you tell me I need to push 80 brawlers, 100 or 50 trophies, that's a huge amount of pushing for an entire season, especially when you consider like quests and ranked on top of all that. So I don't think it would be beneficial for the game to go back to that old system anyway.
Most likely not going back to that system. But as Frank touched on before, we do have significant plans for trophies in the future.
Yeah. Are you thinking about let the player choose the servers they want? And then he mentioned
the whole second question is very much about about the trophy system actually.
Yeah.
No, we are not planning to give people the option.
Are you thinking about letting players choose the server they want to play? You added win streaks, changed totally the season reset, make us play very high trophies, but we still can't choose the servers we want to play in. Why would they give you an option to pick what server you play in?
And which servers to play on. It just doesn't make sense for Brawl really. It would just make matchmaking way worse and even slower. But again, we're working on something for the trophy system. We understand that there is a problem there, especially for high-end players like Equac. It's just not a great experience. So we want to work on that.
When you say it doesn't make sense for Brawl, you mean like as the identity of the game and perhaps for the greater audience, not that it would like not be a beneficial feature for some.
Yeah, it's like exactly. It's more for the larger audience. It really doesn't make sense. Equac is probably in the 0.001. 0.0001.
So like even for like Equac or whatever, I don't know what server Equac plays on, but let's say he plays on EU. It really doesn't even make sense for him to want to play in like an NA server, hypothetically speaking. For an EU pro to want to play in an NA server, that doesn't make sense because the amount of delay you're going to have to deal with when you're playing at high trophies, competitive scrims, that type of stuff is not worth trying to move over. I don't understand what the whole purpose of that would be. The idea would be to just try to queue up on the closest server to you. And as far as I know, there's not a big issue. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think there's a big issue with queuing up on the correct server for you. I maybe if you're in like Australia or whatever, because Australia doesn't have dedicated servers. They have to play on Indian servers, I believe. So maybe there's a couple incidences like that, but I think for the most part, it tries to keep you on the server that you're supposed to play on.
1% of our audience, like it's like we understand that it feels almost like a different game at that point.
Yeah.
But more often than not, allowing people you cannot just allow certain players to choose their servers. Because the moment it becomes a feature, people are using it, and out of we have quite a bit of experience with adding new server locations and seeing the impact of latency, the impact of matchmaking time on players' behaviors, and we know matter of fact that it's always a negative when you make the matchmaking pool smaller.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more like a protection mechanism for us. We don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I think if you were to ask these, the 0.001%, I think many of them would choose longer matchmaking
Absolutely.
over, playing an EU against an A or
Absolutely.
vice versa.
All right, so that's about there. What's your opinion on not being able to drop a rank in ranked brawl anymore? Do I care about that? I don't really care about that, right? Or are they talking about rank gating here? I think it would make rank less stressful, but I don't think they're gonna buy on that. We're gonna skip over that. What do you think of unique rewards cosmetics for huge achievements? Ooh, this sounds like a good topic. All right. So next thing they're gonna go over is, what do you think about unique rewards cosmetics for huge achievements in the ladder or in the game? So I always said there needs to be cosmetics for things like reaching a certain amount of trophies or reaching a certain thing of fame, and we kind of got fame with the pins and the borders and stuff like that. Although they did ruin the battle card ones with ranked the exact same season they released those. But let's see what they're talking about.
Yep.
And then his last question, like thinking of like adding specific rewards for like higher achievements, or like top 5 or 10 in leaderboards and ranked. Like I guess like per season, something that gets permanently added and unique to that season.
Unless they generalize this, the specific purposely pertains to rank. So unless they generalize this question, we're probably going to skip over it.
But yeah, any plans? I think it's a cool concept. I guess it's just like, how do you use the resources you have in the team, right? Because like that will be like Aquac will have one, but then it takes like an artist to design this thing for him, right? Where we could do something for a bigger audience. I think still, I don't know if in the last ranked design that Jeff presented, there's something about it, but I don't know. I think it's a cool thing, but we need to see like the outcome, or like how much investment we put in this one feature, or this one unique cosmetic, and what will bring back to us.
Yeah,
I think that it's more realistic to expect things like, when you hit a certain rank in a leaderboard, that there's something you can show off permanently.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not talking especially about a specific frame or something like that. I'm talking about, hey, you're on a forever leaderboard.
Yeah.
Until someone is beating your score.
Yeah.
Stuff like this. So high scores and numbers is like, I think it doesn't really matter if it's, if you think of a skin as a show off versus as a profile picture versus a frame versus whatever. But at the end, it doesn't really matter what that thing is, as long as it signifies that, hey, look, I'm on the all-time leaderboard and I'm ranked 2.
Yeah.
We need to have ways to express.
So he's talking more about like a high scoreboard or something like that. So it would be a permanent board rather than the active one right now. So like if you push a brawler to like, I don't know, let's just say a brawler hasn't been pushed to 3,100 trophies yet. So you would push your brawler to 3,100 trophies, but then when your brawler drops down after the season reset, the board would still say you have a brawler at 3,100 trophies. And for getting onto that board, you would unlock a reward, is what he's trying to say. That way it incentivizes more people to end up doing. Think of it like a speedrunning board, you know, like a world speedrunning board or a high score board on like a video game, where just because you don't reach that score again doesn't mean you never did it and you have your reward for doing it. But then the next person that does it would come up and get the exact same reward. I don't hate that idea, but again, this is something that, like they've said many times in this podcast up to this point, it would affect such a few number of people that is it really worth doing? And whenever that question comes up, I almost always think they're going to lean towards no, because they're very concerned about what the masses want and what the masses need and what would appeal best to them, as opposed to the 5% and the 4% of people, you know, like the very small percent of the community, the top ladder and top ranked and all that.
Press that part, and that's what people are after for who are really, really competitive anyhow.
True. What would you be happy about, you and Teddy and Reddy? Like something that stays forever? Is it like a number or title or
Some kind of cosmetic that you can actually show in game
a
for
match?
sure.
Yeah, in a match.
Yeah, not just something that like sits on your profile. Like that stuff is cool. I think players when they ask for this sort of some kind of badge to show, maybe some people have the impression that it like is going to create new content, but this is something that they were already going to do anyway.
Yeah.
I think placing something just out of reach of what is already possible, or perhaps even further, creating new achievements is what would really satisfy the top players. But even then, it's only possible to reach for the very top players. That said, you could zoom out and look at it as a bigger picture, and that, well, you know, it doesn't get restricted to just them. Someone who creates content, you know, then that actually creates something larger than just the individual player.
Well, I think that especially when it comes to like kind of having those achievements to show on your profile, and maybe some of them in game too, you know, on like with your master's badge.
So what Reddy was saying there, I kind of agree with. It needs to be something that can show off that isn't just on your profile. And I don't even think a skin would be nice for something like this, because a skin specifically applies to one brawler. So they could do something like a pin that can be applied, like a player pin that can be applied so you could use it across all your brawlers. They could do something like a badge that could be put onto your battle card, so that can be, again, on all your brawlers. Or they could add like a new cosmetic, say something like a flare of like an effect that follows behind your brawler when you're running or something like that. Some brawlers have something like that, but like if they made one that's like way more prominent and it applied to all your skins, I think that would be a cool idea.
Or whatever rank you are, being able to see like the top, how many you were last season, something like that, I think could be very nice and have that like flex effect. But I think that like it is niche, but at the same time, if you have like a system to kind of add value to pushing specific brawlers, total trophies, ranked, you know, if you get like an achievement for being top 10,000 and it just shows, you know, which number you were in the leaderboards, well, that's already 10,000 people in like 82 categories for the brawlers, plus ranked, plus ladder. So it's not that small of a group anymore. So I feel like that could be something really nice to
Yeah, I'm with Teddy here. Is that like opening it up to more people than just like top 100, top 500? That would be the way to do it. Like top 1,000 of a brawler pushed, then you get a pin or something like that, or you get something like to brag about. But you'd have to be able to keep it on your profile to make it worth people's while trying to grind for it.
Yeah, have that extra little flex effect in your matches.
Cool. Next question from Flying.
All right, what do we got? What do you think of unique reward? Next question. This one's gonna be about Mega Pig. We'll listen to this one too. We'll listen.
Since Club Quest and Club
Oh,
League,
Flying Line. I love
Mega
Flying
Pig
Line. He's a
clubs
smart
are
guy.
Kinda dead because there's nothing to do for 90% of the month. Are there any plans to add more activities for clubs?
Yes.
Yes. No, but we do agree as well that like Club League was not it.
Yeah.
Mega Pig is a decent middle ground, but then again, a lot of the time there's nothing to do. But
Yeah, so the issue is that Club League was too much and Mega Pig feels like not enough. Mega Pig is one weekend a month where Club League was like, it felt like every day was a club event. Not necessarily, but you know what I mean? Like it felt like it was way too much and the rewards were too much for them to keep a balanced economy. So it just felt like a chore to do and you almost had to do it for all those rewards. And now Mega Pig is like, it's okay if you do it, but it's so few and far between that it doesn't really feel like it's enough, you know?
But we also have to realize that there are people who just like to play by themselves. So we can't front load like a lot of the stuff into the club without then hurting those players as well. So there has to be a balance. Currently the balance is not correct, by the way, but we're working towards getting to a better balance.
And also the solution wouldn't be just more Mega Pigs every weekend, because then it will burn out.
Exactly, because that's kind of what happened with Club League,
Yeah.
right? Like it was exciting for a month, two, depending on who you are, and then it's like, oh, here's that chore again that I need to do
See, I told you.
for all my rewards.
I think also what really drives that home is that Mega Pig is accounted for in balancing the game economy. So now it's really mandatory that you do it if you want to progress your account.
It is
Right.
actually like, you know, looking back from the transition we made from the old world to the new world, the Mega Pick is a piece of that, and of course the changes we did in Brawl Pass are a piece of that. So when we and we will introduce more things for clubs to do, like it's just a matter of time. Just don't expect always these things to be huge things. It could be just, you know, another activity like the Mega Pick, just different. It could.
Listen, I would be totally cool if, like, say, like, the second weekend of the month we did Mega Pig, and then the third weekend or the fourth weekend of the month we did like club quests, where it's like get 5 million damage in knockout, get, I don't know, 2,000 takedowns in Brawl Ball, hold gems for 1,000 seconds in gem grab, you know, stuff like that. I think that if they did club quests as a weekend event for the whole club, I think that would be dope too. And I think that would be, it would make it so that club events felt more consistent, but also not burn us out of each individual thing. Like, club quests may not be the most exciting thing, but at least it's something you can do while working on your own quests, while pushing your own brawlers, and you don't have to go out of your way to do it like Mega Pig. Like, my big gripe with Mega Pig is that it's its own event. It's very siloed off. And it's like, if I'm doing Mega Pig, I'm not working on ranked. I'm not working on ladder. I'm not working on my quest. I'm doing Mega Pig. Where at least with like club quests, it would be ingrained, and it would be like, it would fit into the natural flow of the game easily. So in that regard, it would be better too. Not saying like Mega Pig's necessarily bad or it's broken, but I feel like Club Quest is a easy way to do there. There's almost no chat left. That's fine, bro. It's fine. We've been watching this Brawl Stars podcast for an hour and a half. I did not expect most people to just sit around and chat with me. And I knew like people like King Edgar were going to get bored and leave. Like, it is what it is, man. Don't worry about it. If you guys want to yap, you guys can yap. Another problem is that I'm not talking to you guys. I'm watching the podcast and then I'm reacting to it, which kind of sucks for you guys. And I understand why if you get bored, you want to leave. That's fine. But I mean, that's just the content we're working on, you know?
Temporary events for clubs like SpongeBob now.
Sorry, I thought I heard something downstairs. As long as I'm watching the podcast, as long as I'm enjoying watching the podcast, watch it. Yeah, that's what I did. Why did I think I heard something downstairs? I don't know. Or are you asking me about King Edgar? King Edgar, he's just young. He's like 9 years old, bro. Like, and that's fine, but it's a little much sometimes. Anyway,
things like that should just happen regularly, and there should be fresh stuff going on for clubs again and again and again. So to really make sure that, yeah, once a month is just not good enough for us.
Yeah.
And of course, it doesn't help then that we have a bug, and then that we cannot run the Mega Pick for 2 months. And it's happening in summer where we are working with a smaller crew and we cannot just fix it. It's super frustrating for us. So we want more for clubs to do, but we need to be sensitive in how we're doing this as well, because like everything we do, there's additive to the current economy.
Yeah, and I think like the goals of like Mega Peak was like, we want more people to be in clubs, and we want the people to be in clubs to play the event more. So like the club engaging with events, and then we achieved this goal. But then, and I think we achieved by maybe double of what we wanted.
he chats so
But then
much.
It creates a different problem. It's like, okay, so that there is only.
Hey man, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just what he chats about can be a
So
bit
I think,
annoying.
it gets like queued in a priority list, right? like, is it like our top priority? Probably not. Like, probably Mega Pig is not on the top priority. Like, I think
Kopak, what up?
the thing we want to do, like, all the system.
Just as a warning, this might be a bit of a boring stream for you. We are just reacting to the podcast. We're not watching the entire thing, but we are skipping from like certain segments. We're watching the important stuff. I'm working on a YouTube video at the moment. I'm gonna end up cutting this. But in case I'm not chatting with you and you get bored here, just understand what's going on.
That is closest to be done is like the trophy reset, because it's something that it just hurts when it happens. Nobody understands how it works. They get bad rewards. Like, if you compare those things, right, Mega Pig or trophy reset, I think trophy reset is more important. That's why we want to change this first. So I think Mega Pig.
I hear the turkey is the most player of Brawl Stars in live. What are you talking about? What does that even mean? That is the weirdest message I've read all day. And King Edgar was here.
In the set of priorities, I wouldn't even put it below ranked, because I think it's ranked is more important, as a lot of pros are concerned, and we also want to make it more fun for casuals.
Yeah.
So just to set like some.
Oh, you're saying that the country turkey has the most players of Brawl Stars. I did skip over that segment. That was a couple segments back. I guessed it was probably going to be. I guess the most Brawl Stars players was either going to be India or Russia, but okay.
Expectations on when you can see some changes.
And for the record, we're not planning to change Mega Pig. Mega Pig as a feature will stay.
Yeah, it'll be more like.
We're thinking of what other things could we do for clubs.
Yeah.
So like, yeah.
And then the second question is being.
What did I think? I didn't understand it. The words in that sentence didn't mesh to mean anything to me. It sounded like word vomit. All right, so as a little bit of a rewind here, basically what they said about Mega Pig, they're not going to rework it, and they want to add things supplementally to clubs to help improve club engagement. So that was the synopsis of that last segment. And like I said, I kind of agree with that. Mega Pig is not necessarily bad, and they're also not going to increase the frequency, which I do think would be a mistake, because then, like Adrian said, it would feel like more of a chore, kind of like Club League did, because that was like the major issue with Club League. I do think that something easy they could do is Club Quests. I would love to see that being added. So like one weekend we would do Mega Pig, and then like the next weekend or the weekend after we would do Club Quests. I think that would be dope.
Been more than a year since you promised to update the older skins to bring them up to the current standards, but the progress on this has been very slow, and there are still a lot of skins that just feel awful to get from legendary star drops. What are your thoughts on this? Well, everybody.
Sad cry.
Yeah.
Hey, we just buffed the worst skin in the game. Gateman
one?
Frank.
Ah, yeah, true.
Come on.
Do you know what I think is actually the worst skin in the game? 1 second. I know I'm taking time out of our busy schedule here to bother you guys with what I think is the worst skin in the game. But I think it's important that people know what I learned the other day when I was showing Jelly things in Brawl Stars. And I learned this, and I was shocked to find out what I was looking at. So, if you guys recall, recently, we did a stream where you guys made me buy terrible skins. Or, yeah, it was a stream, and then I ended up cutting it into a video. Turned out to be a pretty funny video. One of those skins was Night Witch Mortis, okay? Now, I found out Night Witch Mortis was a horrible skin. But one thing that I found worse than Night Witch Mortis is this is classified as a super rare skin. Now, that's not the biggest deal in the world. Super rare skins are pretty cheap. You know, they're, 79 gems, 2,750 bling. That's not that bad. But if you think about it, this skin is just a recolor of base Crow, and it should be classified as a rare skin. It's not the most egregious thing in the world, but this is things that get overlooked by Brawl Stars a lot. This is just a recolor. There's no special effects on it. There's nothing like crazy added to it. There's no animations. There's no special effects. But they want to charge 2,750, 79 bling, or 79 gems for this skin when it should be a 29 gem skin. Captain Crow has special animations and a new texture. Like, you could get Captain Crow, or you could get this piece of shit. There's not special effects. It doesn't even list special effects on the side. It says brawler model and custom textures. What does that even mean? Anyway, I don't think this skin's worth it. I'm going to cut this out of the video because it doesn't really matter. But ultimately, Crow sucks. No, White Crow sucks. I used to like that skin too. Old skin. It has custom attacks.
So like it's yeah.
Are you saying the custom attacks are like gold daggers as opposed to silver ones? Shut up, all right? It needs to be a bit more, okay?
It's a deliberate choice.
Yeah.
It's a deliberate choice because we have X time, and we're working on old skins piece by piece. Yeah.
All right, so this is going to be a big non-answer. It's like it's a work in progress. We'll get to it when we get to it. All right, we're gonna move on. Do you guys care about a free brawler challenge? I don't think so. They go on for 10 minutes about this, and I got a feeling they're gonna say no because the credit system is in place, and that kind of replaces the need for this. So, I'll watch it for a bit, but I have a feeling they're gonna say something along those lines.
You just need to talk to the art team. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more work for the artists, but I guess they are happy with that. And can you do a challenge to get a brawler for free again?
It's an interesting topic. It's like yeah, I think Danny, you have a good answer for that in general on the topic. Maybe to give some context.
Yes. So like on the course of the years, we've done free brawlers in different ways, right? We released Edgar, which was like free on the day, and actually he crashed the server for 8 or 10 hours. I don't know. That was a long day.
More like eight days.
Yeah, that's how it felt.
Yeah, and then we try like, okay, so like maybe that was a bad idea because it was much, everyone was playing Edgar at the same time. So like, let's try to do a challenge. And then I think we did for Griff. And then it didn't have the impact we wanted. Because like when we released Edgar, like people were crazy. Like people, I think it was one of our highest DAU days.
So I will say they tried to do what Clash Royale used to do, where there was a challenge to unlock the new character, and I actually thought that was a really good idea because that meant that people that were skilled could get the brawler early, and they would be able to play with it. They're not going to do that anymore because they sell brawlers in packs now, and now you don't need skill, you need money to get the brawler early.
Yeah, back in the day, and actually they stayed, so they were playing Edgar and they were excited about it, so the results were amazing.
And they're still playing Edgar.
They are still playing Edgar.
They
To this
never
day,
recovered.
Only Edgar.
Yeah, but then
Spain for 4 years.
when we did Grief, it didn't have any meaningful results, right? So like the delivery of the content also affects the performance of the game. And then we tried differently. So maybe challenge is like it's too niche. Let's try Quest, and then we did Gray.
You don't need a skill
during
card,
the
you need a
Christmas
credit
time.
card, exactly.
And then also didn't bring a lot of results. And some people are even unaware you could actually unlock the brawler for free through Quest.
Yeah.
So for challenge,
What brawler was for quests? Was that Grom?
also didn't bring a lot of results. And the content also affects the performance of the game. And then we tried differently. So maybe challenge is like
Great. Why do I not remember that? I mean, I obviously did it, but why do I not remember that?
it's too niche.
That's how unimpactful it was. It wasn't even impressed on my brain.
Try Quest, and then we did Gray during the Christmas time. And then also didn't bring a lot of results. And some people are even unaware you could actually unlock the brawler for free through Quest.
Yeah.
So for challenge, probably not, because it doesn't bring anything back to us. It's just we giving like a free stuff, and then like when we do something for free, we want at least like players playing the game, like being engaged, or like broadcasting this thing everywhere. Like if we do this, like we give out like, because imagine that a brawler for free, it costs some money because you are giving the value of this item away, right? So we want to at least get the engagement back. So yeah,
It's like me trying to give away skins to my Discord server that can't even be bothered to draw a picture. I'm not salty or nothing. Just as an example.
I guess like maybe new ways to release free stuff. Yeah, we can try, but probably not challenge. Challenge maybe not the way.
I think once upon a time you could, in theory, get every brawler for free, right? If you stack your boxes appropriately. But the system's changed now, and you had some...
Dino, you don't need art skills. You just need to draw a picture, and then it's anything. You get entered into the wheel if I don't pick your picture. I've done so many of these. You should know the rules by now, bro. Ah! It's a high skill category, a low skill category, and then everyone else gets the last skin at an even odd, and you have to win a wheel roll. That's it. That's all you had to do. That's all you had to do, bro.
Thoughts on this we discussed earlier about how now it seems like every new brawler release is through a value pack, and it'll stay that way for 2 weeks. So a new brawler comes out for someone that isn't really
1 week.
1 week. Okay, cool. Sorry, my bad.
Wait, are you kidding me? He didn't have Hank and it just unlocks the skin? What? Hold up. Does your friend have Discord? Have them DM me so I can get in contact with them. That doesn't sound right, and I wanna get to the bottom of this. Sams, does your friend have Discord? Or do you have access to your friend's account? Not to pause the video or anything. But I need to get to the bottom of this. Because I will reach out to a community manager and see if that's the way it's supposed to be. Because you should unlock the brawler if that's the problem. No, that's a feature. In a safe? Hank's so bad you don't even unlock him. Well, Sams, if you want me to look into it, I can. If not, I'll let it be, but that doesn't sound right to me.
Dies them instantly anyway.
Yeah, this is true. So I have no perspective on this. but you know, new brawler comes out. It's supposed to be very exciting, but if you're not willing to make the in-app purchase, then you don't get to engage with that release.
Yeah.
This is one of the gripes I had in my video when I talked about why I don't buy brawler packs, because it doesn't feel as engaging anymore as it used to be when we all used to get the brawler on release day. Remember that? It was the first point I made, and I got made fun of. I got cooked in the comments about that. But I was like, yo, it's true though. Like, do any of you guys feel like you don't know how to play Kenji? Do you guys feel like you haven't watched a video on Kenji and don't know how his techs work or not? Because I bet you have. Like, seriously, like, that was part of the excitement of new brawlers coming out. You get to unlock the brawler, and you get to experience it all by yourself without watching any YouTube videos about it, because it would come out the videos would come out an hour or so later, or whatever, when the bigger creators came out with them after they pushed them and shit. Now it's like, the brawler, you have to wait a week to get the brawler, and by then you've already watched 1 or 2 or maybe 3 videos about it, and you kind of know all the ins and outs, the pros and cons, what brawlers to avoid, all that stuff. And it's just not as fun, and it's not as engaging, and it's not as much of a, like, you know. Anyway, hold on a second. What the fuck? That's so stupid. I just checked Discord. That's fucked up. All right.
This has been kind of one of my complaints about, like, monetization, I guess. Is I'm really not a fan of the value pack. I feel I get the point of it. Like, I'll start with the positives, because I'm aware of the fact that it, you know, stops the servers from dying and everyone playing the same brawler, and matchmaking is terrible. So I do see the benefits there, but personally, like, I don't buy them, and then I kind of lose the hype for the new brawler by the time I unlock it. So, like, I mean, I unlocked Mo, and I played like 3 games with it so far because I wasn't as excited. And I used to remember, like, years ago when everyone would kind of be able to get the brawler on the same day, it would be super hype. It would be like, oh,
dude, me and Teddy are the same, bro. Teddy, we're the same, brother.
race to rank 35 and seeing like how strong it is, and it felt kind of like being a part of an event in a way, which is a feeling that I completely lost now.
100%.
And I don't know. I think it's
100%. It felt like a real special, exciting day. Like people would be like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't like the 3v3 matches of all the same brawlers, but that happened all the time when new brawlers came out. And like, I'm glad that he's saying it to their faces. Because honestly, if I was on this podcast, I'd probably be rude about it. I could never be on this podcast. Even if I like made it big and all that, I would never be able to be on this podcast because I would say shit like this in a much meaner way. But that's basically my exact sentiment about it. Is like it feels less exciting when new brawlers come out because the week cooldown period kind of like just ruins the fun for a lot of it.
kind of sad that I'm not like as excited anymore about new brawlers.
We cannot really see that in the numbers. I can totally see that as an individual.
Is this guy a robot? Serious question, chat. Is he a robot? What do you mean you need to see this in the numbers? Can you not read Twitter? Can you not see Reddit? Like, do you not see the posts and the videos and the things that people say about your game? The only number he sees is money and how many packs have sold for the Brawler. I have to say that is the worst answer I've ever heard anyone say to any question in the history of mankind. Hold on. Let's run that back one more time for the chat.
So like, I mean, I unlocked Mo and I played like 3 games with it so far because I wasn't as excited. And I used to remember like years ago when everyone would kind of be able to get the Brawl on the same day. It would be super hype. It would be like, oh, race to rank 35 and seeing like how strong it is. And it felt kind of like being a part of an event in a way, which is a feeling that I completely lost now. And I don't know, I think it's kind of sad that I'm not like as excited anymore about new brawlers.
We cannot really see that in the numbers.
Dude, that's like the flattest answer ever. Motherfucker, what the fuck? Oh my god.
First of all, congratulations, Mr. Krabs.
Hello, I like money.
What inspired...
Oh, bro.
I can totally see that.
If I wanted them to do a collab, Legend of Zelda would be cool. Final Fantasy would be cool. My buddy Paulo wants them to do a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, so I would be excited for him for that. I think that would be dope. Anyway, let's get back to Robo Frank. Beep, boop, boop, beep. Cannot compute what hype is. How do you measure hype?
That as an individual that it might feel like that. But from just looking at, engagement numbers, looking on the player who come in on that day, etc., it doesn't look like that's largely the sentiment, at least. For us, it was a gentle way of introducing more monetization, make things more sustainable without adding more power or without adding power 12 or something like this. It's like just trying to become creative with what we have already, giving a small benefit for payers, which is that week early access, without, changing something permanently about the power.
My thing, though, is you can sell the value packs the day the Brawl releases. So there's not an early access pack, but the people that buy the value pack could make it so that you buy the value pack, right? You get the Brawler, you get the skin, you get all the rewards for it on that day, and then they get to benefit by maxing out the Brawler for free. They get to get the skin for the Brawler a week early, and they get the Brawler all at the same time. Shit, throw a gadget and a star power in there too. Why not? Then the people who pay money to unlock the Brawler rather than getting it through credits can get more value from it. And the people who use credits get the Brawler, and then they have to invest their resources into it. There's a way to monetize it to make it hype again, but they just don't do it because they want to push you to buy that Brawler. This is such a bullshit answer. And if you don't, I can't understand why people don't see this. Like, there's a way to do it, and they just don't do it. Oh, that makes me so mad.
In the game. Yeah, I think that's it. It's not gonna go anywhere. It's just
Yeah, we know it's not going to go anywhere because you're making money hand over fist because you're forcing people, if they want to engage with the new content as early as possible, to buy the brawler. If not, you have to sit out on the sidelines and watch everybody have fun.
it's working really well for what.
And I know this because I don't buy these early access packs. I'm not crazy. I don't want to waste my money. I don't want to waste $25 on Kenji.
It is. I'm afraid.
And I think that's fair, but I also want to give another perspective, I think, from balancing side, for example, because, you know...
What do you mean balancing side? You don't balance these brawlers. These brawlers come out broken, and you can't touch them for 3 to 4 weeks because of the way you set the system up. The fuck do you mean balancing? Get the fuck out of here. Oh, my God. Get the hell out. Oh, my God. What do you mean balancing?
There's always the meme that, oh no, new brawler, it's OP, so forth. But... the early access, for example, period is a really good way for us to also see, is that statement true or not? Because, like, if we release it to everyone at the same time...
Yes, I'm mad because they're talking out of their asses. We all see exactly what happens when they release these brawlers. We all see what is happening with the game. This is just talking out of their asses and trying to gaslight us into not seeing the way the game is being played. This is their perspective, which is so closed-minded that they can't see how this is negatively affecting their player bases. You can't talk about a brawler being balanced on release that you cannot nerf because you sold it and make it either pay to win or scammy if you nerf it, or make it pay to win if you nerf it before free-to-play players get to play it at full strength. Like, do you guys not... Am I wrong here? Am I coming out of left pocket here? Like, this is just crazy to me. This is crazy talk. I'm going to go get some water. I'll be right back. Woo! All right. All right, let's listen to Adrian talk about the balancing of his new brawlers that come out broken and OP. Let's not forget about Kit or Larry and Lori or Mo or soon to be Kenji. Let's listen to how selling brawlers early and not nerfing them for 3 weeks because you sold them early leads to better balancing.
But the early access, for example, period is a really good way for us to also see, is that statement true or not? Because, like, if we release it to everyone at the same time, like, you know, if everyone get the brawler day one, then let's say it wreaks havoc, or let's say it's worse, like it crashes the game. We've seen that with Gene, for example. Then that's a much larger impact for the player base, right? And then we don't have the same amount of time to rectify that before everyone gets their hands on it. So there is other positive.
But you can push an emergency patch through if you feel like there's something breaking the game, or if the brawler is totally unfair. The next day or 2 days later, you can balance the brawler. You can't do that right now because you've sold this brawler to people, and it is a scam if you sell them a strong brawler, they pay money for a brawler, and then you nerf it immediately. And if you nerf it before free-to-play players get it, then it's a pay-to-win setup because you're letting people get a free rank 30 brawler and then nerfing it before the people who didn't pay money for it get it. You're talking out of your ass when you say it's better for balancing.
Than maybe just looking at the monetary aspect as well.
Yeah, and I think like it's a balance. Like I'm not happy that you are sad with the new format, right?
Me neither, for the record.
But like it's the sacrifice we have to make because like how sad are you? Or like are you really?
How
yeah. Are you like in
Overall.
And now they want us to bust out the Dr. Pain chart. They want us to be like, I doxed myself. They want us to be like, how bad is your pain? They want us to look at how much we hurt. Like, so are you like severely sad that we're selling the brawler that's OP and we can't nerf it? Or do you just like are you just like mildly upset? They want us to gauge our pain like that. Get the fuck out of here. Oh my God, this shit's...
Yeah. Because if it's like, you can wait a week, right? We think it's a fair exchange that a player can wait a week to have the brawler for free. And we also released that before the season. So every credit that he has, it turns, it gets into the new brawler. If they...
Or you could just sell a value pack and release the brawler to everybody at the same time.
That's the only brawler that they have left. So we feel like, yeah, there is a balance we can do. Maybe like, if you would like to make this lighter, would be like, maybe the amount of days would be like 4 days. That is in the...
Another thing that's annoying is you can't even buy the brawler early without the value pack. You have to buy the brawler and the entire value pack as opposed to just buying the brawler. They don't even sell the damn brawler for gems. It's cash too. So it's like, if they were to release, I don't know, a rare brawler that only runs you 150 gems, you couldn't buy it there. Like, dude, this is such
pack
dog
or something
shit.
like that. But then, like, it's also hard to communicate. Like, 1 week is really clear, right? 1 week.
It sounds like
Yeah.
plain, but I think that for me, like the only issue I have with it, because I love the idea of the value,
Yeah.
right? Of having like, this is a great deal to buy and you get tons of like progression and
I agree. The value pack is good. I'm with Teddy on this. The value pack's good for the people that want to buy it. If they release the brawler at the same time for everybody else, I might consider buying a value pack. If I could buy a pack that would come with the brawler, the skins, all the gems, all that stuff, or all the PowerPoints and all that stuff, if I could buy that and everybody could benefit from getting the brawler at the same time, I would buy the value pack. But I can't do that in good faith because it doesn't make sense. Like, it's just pointless. Like, I don't know, man.
I think there's a skin as well.
Yeah, get all the pinnings, all cosmetics, some progression.
I love
points,
that.
You should
gems,
try it.
Yeah. You can use your own code.
I love that. My only issue is just like the week, which feels like long. And I also feel like I build up a negative bond with that brawler because usually they're pretty strong. And I also get why they have to be strong, especially if the only way to get them is like, you know, credit card. But then I feel like I kind of hate that brawler because for a week, every time I face it, like it's not an enjoyable time, you know? So I feel like once it's released, yes, part of me is excited to try it and like inflict the pain that I've been receiving. But part of me is also like, yeah, it just has that negative association to a brawler, which I feel like wouldn't be as strong if I was able to also play it when other people are, if that makes any sense.
And just I want to touch on that really quick, the OP part or whatever, because
Lay it on me, Adrian. Tell me why you make brawlers so stupid strong. Tell me, Adrian. Tell me.
I want to say it very clearly. We don't make OP brawlers on purpose. I've said this many times, but if
But
we
they're all
don't,
OP.
if
But I don't know how to balance brawlers. No, it really all it is them wanting to make brawlers strong to get people excited to play them, to encourage them to buy the brawler. Like, let's be real. They want to release brawlers that are stronger in general to try to incentivize people to buy the early access pack or get excited for them to play it and play the game longer and all that stuff. So like, I understand that if you release a weak brawler, nobody's going to have fun with it. I get it. Like Hank's a perfect example. Nobody cared about Hank when he came out. He was a bad designed brawler, and he's kind of like, people meme on Hank. Hank is famous because he's a bit of a meme in the community. No one really respects the brawler. But then you have a brawler like Larry and Lori, where he's not the most exciting brawler, but he was stupid OP when he came out, and you're not going to tell me you didn't play him when he dropped. And you didn't, and people weren't tempted to buy that early access pack because he was so good.
if we don't make them strong enough, then people forget them basically by default, and they can never recover. So I made this example a few times, but if you look at Doug, if you look at, let's say, Willow, they still haven't recovered. We've buffed them lots of times, and they're...
You're also not talking about exciting brawlers, though. Like, those are... I get what he's saying, all right? But those two brawlers specifically are not exciting brawlers. You're talking about Healer Jackie and Boring Barley. Like, you're talking about a healer brawler that has a radius like this, and you're talking about a version 2 of a thrower brawler, which nobody cares about. You're not talking about Lily, who was weak on release. Not weak, but like they buffed her after. They gave her a buff after her initial run. And guess what? Lily's fucking great. Everyone likes Lily. You're not talking about Melody, whose super high skill was very strong, but only if you were good at the game. People still like Melody, and she got nerfed. I wouldn't say Melody was like the craziest brawler. She was high skill, and if you weren't good at her, you could dash into walls and just be useless with her. Like, you're talking about Willow and Doug in this situation is not the same as talking about a brawler like Kenji or a brawler like Mo. Like, Mo might, honestly, Mo might fall in that category of being a boring brawler if he was released weak. I won't lie about that, but Kenji is not that type of brawler. Kenji is a brawler that is OP right now. He's going to be OP next week when he comes out. And people will be excited if he was, even if he was weak, people would still like him.
They're still not super strong, don't get me wrong. But Willow, for example, she's in a really good spot win rate-wise, but she's not popular. Because she never recovered after the week, kind of.
No, I don't think we're going to get to playing today. We've been going for almost 2 hours, and we're only got about half the podcast done, so I don't think we're going to be playing today.
Launch that she had. So we don't want to repeat that mistake. Because there's no worse feeling, like you're really looking forward to a brawler, everything looks cool, you play the brawler, and it's super weak. And you're like, that's not cool.
Listen, I get what he's saying here, but I can't get behind it, because I know you make brawlers stronger than what you think they're going to be. And then you put yourself in a position where you cannot nerf them because it would be a scam to the pay-to-play players, and it would be a scam to the free-to-play players that just unlock them. And then we're just stuck with this shitty balanced meta, and then you try to say this is better for balancing. I can't get behind that.
You know, that's the worst.
I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
By the way. Like, I think new brawlers should be strong. Now, you know, I think the strongest depends on who's playing them as well.
Of course.
It gets very like snowbally at times.
For sure.
But I completely agree with that. Like,
And when we change this format a bit, like actually ready, I don't know if you've been also in playtest, but like we've been testing with creators before it goes live. And then like I think all the times we actually nerf or like buff the brawler because we get these feedbacks. Like we try not to have a Laurie and Laurie effect ever again. And even like all the brawlers that have been released after that, they are on the stronger side. They don't feel like I can't beat this brawler with any counter or anything, right?
Yeah, I think that it's about you need to feel like there is some fairness involved. Like you can't feel like Larry and Laurie where, oh, it doesn't matter what I play. Where
an assassin can.
Yeah, it's like, you know, so there needs to be a sense, oh, I can beat this brawler if I.
I think it's fine now because they are doing a good job at balancing because the brawlers aren't overly OP. They've done better. I will say they've done better with a couple of brawlers. I think Mo kind of lands in a gray area where I don't know for sure one way or the other. Like, I didn't have a hard time pushing Mo, but he also fits into my wheelhouse pretty well. So maybe Mo's OP, maybe he's not. I could tell you that a lot of people were saying Melody and Angela were OP, but as a low skill player, I recognize that those brawlers I was not good with because I'm not good at the game. So there was definitely a skill factor with those two brawlers involved. But then you have a brawler like Draco. Draco came out, he was stupid OP, and it was not hard to push him at all. Draco was very easy to play, and he was OP. And I don't know about Kenji, but people are saying Kenji is broken right now. Like, Kairos Time made a video titled, Kenji sucks if you suck. So the general consensus is Kenji's going to be game breaking when he comes out, and he's going to be stupid OP. I think a part of it is that people hype a brawler up so much they say he's good when he's not. I do agree that does happen. Who was the last brawler that happened to? I don't remember. But I do agree that definitely does happen from time to time. But I do feel like we have a lot of brawlers that just come out OP. Not always, though. Yeah, not always. All right, let's move on.
Play this, or if I play better, or so forth. So
it's to go back to the original question again. It's the, you know, when we changed to the whole Star Road system and everything, like one of our ambition was that like in average people had less than one legendary back then. People tend to forget this, and now people are actually unlocking the brawlers they want. If you're free to play or if you don't want to spend that much money, you will unlock brawlers slower, but it's not like you cannot unlock the brawlers you want. Especially that on the day when, you know, the early access offer runs out, we make the brawler available to everyone. They can switch their credits to it. And as a consequence, today we see people in general unlock brawlers faster than ever before. And also on that day one, more people get access to the new brawler more than before, even free-to-play players. So I think like this, the main decision free-to-play players have to make is, you know, which brawler do I want to unlock? But then if you really want Kenji, you know, you just can't save your credits. And of course, like...
So I have been working on a video about Star Road, and I don't know when I'm going to put it out. I could work on it tomorrow, but I have a script typed up about talking about what... I haven't truly experienced Star Road because I haven't worked an account through it, but from looking at it as just like as a roadmap, it seems like it's insurmountable to unlock all the brawlers ever. And like, not saying you need to unlock all the brawlers, but if you mess up at any point in the Star Road, it can set you back weeks and months of progress. So I don't know exactly what he's on about here. And really that only affects, what he's talking about really only affects new brawlers. If you missed a brawler, say somebody joined the game today and they want to unlock Draco, it would take them forever to get to a point where they could switch their Star Road to Draco. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's the behavior we see. Like, so
I'm hyped for Kenji too. We're gonna do a Kenji stream on Thursday. That's a game plan. We're gonna do a Kenji stream on Thursday, and I'm excited to play him. But and like, don't get me wrong, I don't get unhyped about brawlers, but I do feel like it was a better experience for everyone to experience the brawler at the same time, like Teddy was saying. I mean, like I said, I've made a whole video about why I don't participate in the early access packs. And I just feel like there are a lot of things they overlook, and there's a way to monetize new brawler releases that they are overlooking. Like I said, they get to do a value pack where you get the brawler, the skin, the pins, and like monetization to level up your brawler as well, or a progression to level up your brawler. People would still buy that pack, especially if you don't have credits saved up. Like most of the people who push their fame up, like my buddy Blizz, he doesn't have fame saved up. So if he wanted to get that brawler day one, he would buy the early access pack. In fact, he probably buys early access packs for that reason, because he knows he's not going to be able to get the brawler on release.
More people unlocking new brawlers faster than before, and more people unlock more brawlers in general than before, which is really healthy for the game, I think, because then the wider the pool you have of brawlers, the more likely you find something you really like to play. So overall it's a positive change, even though again individual mileage might vary.
Cool. Great segue about.
What are your plans with balancing? This one seems like it's a short segment. Yeah, they're only going to spend about a minute on balancing. Are there still several unbalanced brawlers?
Questions like
All right, so this one's about balancing here.
What are your plans with the balance? There are still several unbalanced brawlers, for example, Piper, who didn't get enough right nerf yet, or even Dynamite or Lily with their gadget. And the situation might turn worse when more new brawlers come.
Yeah, no, I think this is a fair concern. I don't think the examples are correct though, but that's semantics.
Maybe Lily?
Yeah, so Lily is fine. I think that's absolutely on point. I think the gadget is not healthy.
Yeah.
I have a plan for it. We didn't manage this update, but we want to do it in the future. Piper is actually on the negative side on win rate.
All they're going to do for Lily's gadget is nerf the duration of it from 1 second to half a second.
So Piper is weaker than the average brawler currently. And Dynamite is also... I think Dynamite is actually nearly exactly 50% win rate.
Wow.
As of this moment.
Good job, Adrian.
How many subs am I off from 2K? I lost 2 subs from posting that Poco video. I think I'm at 1902 right now. So about 100. Yeah, I'm at 1902.
But regardless, I do agree that the stun gadget that I'm assuming he's talking about does not feel good to be on the receiving end of, right? Like, I think that's the problem with both Lily's and Dynamite's gadgets, especially, is the feeling that something uses. Like, oh, I couldn't have done anything. And that we want to move away from.
But
so
the Dynamite one, it's also like, it's in rare, like, I think we should have some stats somewhere how often that's actually hit.
Yeah, it's not.
How often is someone actually getting stunned after it's being used? Because, like, you know, you can bait it, you can wait it out, you can just
dodge it.
Yeah, well, you can dodge it, of course.
You cannot dodge dynamite attacks if they're good enough.
But it's like, I actually wonder how many times this gadget is activated and how many times someone is stunned afterwards.
Yeah, you're right. But I don't think...
Those two people hated your video so much they unsubbed. True and factual.
I even think that's the issue. I think it's when you do get stunned.
Yeah.
You forget all the times that you've dodged it or not get hit because that feels so bad.
Get good.
So yeah, that is just but yeah, it's yes, we're looking into balancing the things that feel unfair. Let's put it that way.
And then so like we finished with the Twitter questions, so now we
All right, so why are so many people being hacked? I don't care about that. You're probably clicking on links you shouldn't be clicking on. Will there be hypercharges that change main attacks? Let's hear about their changes
Twitter.
to hypercharges.
They are asking if there are any plans to have more hypercharges like Surge, where it's the main attack that actually is influenced, because every other brawler, as far as I know, it's really just a super and then the stat buff.
Yeah, so maybe I can talk a little bit. I think I talked about it, but I'll talk about it just to make sure. So our kind of design pillars when we make hypercharges is that your super needs to behave in the same way as your normal super plus something else. In Surge's case, your super actually does enhance your main attack, right? That's kind of why we were able to do that with Surge, and I think that's the cool part. But
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I didn't think about it like that. That definitely makes sense, though.
It doesn't mean we can't do it for other brawlers, but our pillars for now have been, okay, your super and then something. So there is other opportunities, for example...
a new button. What?
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 Yeah. For example, but yes.
No more
There
buttons.
is opportunities. And I have some ideas on some basics that could be cool to alter. But Surge was the natural first thing because he had it in his kit to begin with.
That's kind of what I thought as well, and it actually makes sense because, you know, his shot only splits because of his super.
Okay, my next question is...
What's the point of Brawl eStarts from your perspective? Personal wish list for esports. Do you think Brawl Stars would be better, more fun if spending money wasn't? All right, so let's see. Let's see about... This is going to make me mad. So... this question seems like it's pertained saying, would Brawl Stars be more fun if money wasn't needed to be spent?
The question is, do you think Brawl Stars would be a better, meaning more fun?
Would Brawl Stars be more fun if spending money was not an option? Let's hear the devs say that the game was more fun when you didn't need to spend money. Let's see if they actually say that. My money says they're not going to say that. They're going to say it's better that you have to spend money. It's better that you pay their checks. It's better that you support the game.
An enjoyable game if spending money were not an option.
I don't think so, personally.
Oh my god! He didn't hold back! He didn't! Frame one! No, spend money on the game, please. Spend all your money. Listen, I don't mean to hate on them. They're obviously a company. They need to make money to support it to keep the game going. Obviously. But you cannot look at the camera and go, no, the game wouldn't be more fun if you couldn't max out your brawlers and you couldn't unlock all the brawlers for free. You cannot look at the camera and say that. Like, dude, this dude has no PR skills. Like, oh my God. Like, the fuck are you saying? What are you doing? Oh my God. He's a robot. He's a robot, and you can't convince me. He's programmed to do one thing and one thing only, and that is to promote the game and sell more brawlers, sell more packs, sell more whatever. Sell, sell, sell. All right. Back to you, Robo Frank.
Like, the way we're looking at money, like every business, like not like every business actually.
He let the mask flip right there. We look at money like every business. It's the most important thing. Oh, bro. Bro. I'm so happy I did this on stream. I'm glad you guys are here to experience this with me. Because if I was not on camera, on stream, I would be losing my mind. And I'm probably going to have to cut a lot of this footage anyway. But you guys get to see it raw and unedited. And you guys get to see my legitimate reactions. All right. Back to you, Robo Frank.
Like whenever we create new content, money is never the driver behind that.
Shut up. Shut up. There's literally a season right now where the main purpose is to sell fucking Krusty Cash so that we can try to get more stuff. And then you're not even going to give us an option to get the skins for free.
When we create a new feature, it's always driven by how does it make the player's life better?
That's why you removed Hypercharge Unleashed, right? Because that made the players' lives better, right?
Does it have a monetization component? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But
can you turn the volume up? Am I yelling too loud? Am I broken? Am I breaking the video? Like, dude, you can't. He said, how does this make the players' lives better? And you removed Hypercharge Unleashed because that made the players' lives better, right? Because us getting a free Hypercharge every month made it unenjoyable to play the game. He's so...
We generally want to make the best game first. But monetization for us, it's the ultimate sign of engagement. People do not invest time or money into stuff they don't care about. So for us it's more like it's an outcome. It's not the goal. I can tell you nobody would work in video games if it was about money only.
Listen, I know I'm being like super negative, all right? I feel really bad. Honestly, I do. I feel bad for sitting here and laughing at Frank for trying to promote his game. I do. That being said, everything he has said in this podcast makes me feel like the only thing that matters to him is selling things in the game. Danny gives me more vibes of like, I enjoy playing the game. I want the game to do well. Adrian is the balancing guy, right? Like, he enjoys like the balancing, all that stuff. This guy's just trying to sell me stuff. And it's so impersonal. He feels, I know he's the manager. He feels like the manager. You could tell if you talk to any one of these, this guy is the least personal out of the three. And he sells things.
There's, like people could invest.
And don't get me wrong. He might enjoy Brawl Stars. He might. Doesn't have to. He's the manager of the game. He might enjoy Brawl Stars. He might want the game to do well as an actual enjoyment thing. I don't get that vibe from him, though. I get the vibe that he works at Brawl Stars.
Invest their programming skills, their design skills, their business skills into other industries and would make more money, personally speaking. But most of us are here because of a passion. And all of us are playing the game. And you can have, like with all of us, a meaningful conversation about the game. But of course, we need to earn some money to keep. Absolutely,
they need to make money to keep the game going, to keep them guys in a job. I get it. Honestly, I get it. We all need to make money in life, right? Like, not me personally, but YouTubers make videos to make money, right? I don't make any money. I make like $5. I make like $1 on a good video. Okay. People do things to make money. 100%. I agree. I get what they're saying. And I understand why monetization needs to exist in the game. It's not the question, bro. It's not the question.
Keep this going, to invest in things like esports, to just, pay the bills. And the more profitable we are, the more opportunities we have to do things. And this is a bit zoomed out, not only Brawl, right? As a company, if Brawl is not profitable, of course, like maybe let's assume for a second, very hypothetical, we would just break even. So we would have Brawl. It would be this the stalemate where we only have Brawl, we cannot do any new games, eventually Brawl would decline. Like, maybe not in the next 5 years. Let's say in 50 years from now. Right? Brawl probably will be smart.
So he's not talking about would the game be more enjoyable. Here, he's talking about why the game needs to be monetized. That wasn't the question. The question is, would the game be more fun if people didn't need to spend money on it? And he's talking about the game needing to make more money to fund Supercell and to make more games.
More than 50 years from now. Maybe it'll still be around, maybe it's a different version of a game, but there will be decline. So as a company, we have to develop new games. We have to look for the next cool thing for our players, to generate value for our players. And then as a side product that generates value for us as individuals and the company. But for that to happen, we need to have a profit. Because else we cannot hire the next 5 developers who then make the next cool game. Like Moko right now, is in development.
So here's me as a human being. Here's how I'd answer that question. I would look dead at the camera and say, of course the game would be more fun if you didn't have to spend money on it. There's lots of games that you can play without spending money on them. In fact, you can play Brawl Stars without spending money on it. But we need to monetize the game in order to keep the game going, to do cool things that we're doing, and to continue development of the game, and even more games by making more money for Supercell. There's an easy way and a personable way to say that. This wasn't it. This was not it.
The question is, do you think Brawl Stars would be a better, meaning more fun and enjoyable game if spending money were not an option?
I don't think so, personally.
That's not the way to answer the question, man. That wasn't it. That was not it.
Way to pay in the game for anything, then probably you would have to pay for the game itself, right? Like that's the option, because
Sure.
there needs to be somewhere. And if you do that, then that's a really hard hurdle for people to overcome, right? So then suddenly, because we want to reach mass audience, right? We want to reach as many people as possible to have fun with the game. And if you have to pay for it, then we are no longer achieving that, because a lot of people, they can't afford that. Like they, for example, or for some reason, they don't want to do that. And then we kind of failed on the first step already. So it's not really viable for us in that way.
I think like some of the message of, our goal is to make a good game.
See, I could never. This is why I can't be on this podcast, because hypothetically speaking, say I get to 100,000 subscribers and they invite me to be on the podcast, I'd have to decline. Because if I asked a question like that and Frank answers me like that, I'm not going to lie, I would laugh in his face. I would tell him he's stupid. I might not say it in that way. I might be like, dude, cut this. You cannot answer that question like that. You sound like a robot, dude. I could not do this. These guys are better people than me.
First and foremost.
Again, I'm not going to make it that far. I won't make it out of this year, probably. But I couldn't do this.
Gets lost when you are like only seeing things from the outside in, and you don't have that transparency of, hearing the thoughts and sort of the inner machinations of the
Get Jam on the podcast.
Of everyone on the team. Because in the end,
I'd be a goddamn menace, bro.
it is a necessity that, this can sustain the lifestyle of everyone that creates the game. It's all just quite complicated, I think.
It's a good conversation starter, yeah.
It's probably you could have probably a whole podcast just about this topic.
Yeah.
It's like, of course, as a company, we choose free to play as a business model because we have that dream of bringing games to as many people as possible, and I think it's like, to create inclusive games, right? You need to be free to play. It's like how many, like something like we're getting fan mail quite often, and we're getting like messages from parents quite often. I can tell you, after COVID, there was this spike of positive influx of messages from people who said, thanks for Brawl Stars, because like I was stuck in my room, and like that was my outlet. That was my way into the world.
Listen, Brawl Stars being a free-to-play game with monetization options is great. I don't think that the game It's bad monetarily wise. It's definitely, it's not as egregious as some games. For example, I play Genshin Impact. That game is greedy as fuck. Okay? 100%. Brawl Stars is nowhere near, it's not even in the same universe as a game like Genshin Impact. I know what greedy games can be. I used to be a player that would spend thousands of dollars on a character. There's a game called Castle Clash. I spent $2,000 chasing one gacha character. I've been there. I've been down that road. Brawl Stars is not that type of game. That being said, the question was, would the game be more fun if you could play it without spending money? And I feel like they dodged the question. Of course, it would be more fun if you could get all the brawlers, all the skins, and play the game for free maxed out. Professional gambler. Unfortunately, yes. Of course the game would be more fun. But that's not the world we live in. This isn't Disneyland. Like, it's just like, I don't like this question, and I don't like the way they answered it, because it just feels so corporate. It feels so managerial. It feels so impersonal to look your player base in the eye and to say something like that. And we're an hour and 40 minutes into this podcast here. So a lot of people probably didn't even get to this part. This probably flew under the radar as a comment made by Frank. But it just feels so icky to hear him say that. And again, I understand the game needs to be monetized. It needs to be supported and needs to stay afloat. Shit, I'm a player that supports the game. I will spend money and buy gems to get a brawl pass. I will spend gems, or I'll buy gems to get skins. I gift passes to people. I literally just wake up with one. People in chat, you probably received one, maybe not. I don't know. I gift passes though. Like, I'm a supporter of the game. That's not the issue. The issue I have here is how this question is being answered.
And completely free to play. And we're completely happy if you're completely free to play. We're not, we're happy with having you around. And the lion's share of our users today is free to play. That's true for every free to play game.
Yeah, King. Did I hook you up with a pass? Congrats, buddy. Like, I do the pass hookup thing because I think it's cool to give back to the community with my YouTube money, because you guys are the ones that are supporting me. You guys are the ones watching the videos and stuff like that. No, I forgot. I left my ass off. Like, you guys are the ones supporting me, and I use my YouTube revenue to kick back to you guys, because at the end of the day, you're the reason why I keep making videos and stuff. So, like, that's why I like to do that. And it supports the game. It keeps the game afloat. It pays for the SpongeBob collab. It pays for the John Cena challenge. Not by myself, but I'm part of I'm part of the many.
But the amount of people who can play games that are free to play today because of the model versus the amount of people who could play games before that, it's like both the mix free to play model and mobile made a democratized game.
All right, I think we could just move on from this category. I think we've heard what they had to say. They didn't really answer the question about whether the game would be fun or not. They kind of just said the game needs to be monetized, which I agree with. But I think the way they answered the question was way too corporate. So we're going to move on. How does testing work for multiple devices? Don't care about that. Do you plan to improve... Ooh, this is actually something I would like to see them do. Improving spectator mode. Because right now, you can spectate your friends in a match, but it's on a 5-second delay. You can't do anything other than watch the game. Why so serious? Jonkler noises. Anyway, it's on like a 5-second delay. You can't do anything other than watch the match, and it's even tricky to like try to spectate certain people. So I would like to see like a confetti system added, maybe a pin cheering system, kind of like Clash Royale, but a little bit different. Or, do it the same, at least at the start, but do something with it. So let's see what they say.
What is the likelihood that we see an upgrade to the spectator mode, where we would see one game automatically progress into the next if it's a power match?
Yeah, I understand the 5-second delay is on purpose. Obviously, that's to stop people from stream sniping and stuff like that. So you can't be like, hey, that guy's in the bush over there. You know what I mean? Like, I get what the point is, but it just hurts the overall experience, That's all.
And then
It needs to be there. I don't think that part needs to be removed. But the rest of the stuff I talked about, the not being able to cheer, not being able to throw confetti down, that type of stuff, having a hard time selecting players and stuff like that to spectate on. I think that should change.
also seeing draft beforehand, that is kind of...
Two questions.
Oh, yeah. That's like
You get one. No.
Okay.
No, I'm
It's
kidding.
like ramping up in terms of how much development time it would take. And then the final one that would be nice to see is an adjustment to the API that allows you to see in progress tournament matches, gather real-time data, especially in terms of...
He's not even talking about regular spectator mode. I think he's talking about like their special software.
draft, which is currently restricted only to tournament organizers.
Sure. I think there's many steps to this. I think spectating in itself is quite a niche in our game. If we don't look at esports, right, and don't look at API and everything, like people spectating games is not as many as people playing them, obviously. Yeah. But that doesn't mean it's not a priority. Like we're also, I'm annoyed by this every time. It's like I have to quit the spectator and go back in between rounds. Like it's really annoying. And these small things that are annoying is stuff that is basically on our list to fix. So, but it doesn't mean that that's the first thing we're going to fix, but eventually we will get to it. Unfortunately, it's not a satisfactory answer because I can't give you, we will fix it then, but I can tell you we will fix it eventually, if that makes sense.
Yeah, maybe like if you're touching on a feature that is related to spectate or something like that, then I guess like some esports integration with the game or whatever, then now it makes sense to get like this feature from the backlog or something like that.
Exactly. And I think it's the same kind of logic for APIs. Yes, like we want to make sure it's as user friendly as possible, as versatile as possible, and has, you know, kind of the robustness that you'd expect from the API on the esports side. But again, that takes time, and it just needs someone to prioritize it. And for us to be able to, okay, this is actually something we really need, for example, for this production to be of the quality that we want it to be, and stuff like that.
On the API side, actually, we recently hired a new team member. He's a producer who is helping us to get a bit more organized with some things. And like general API, not necessarily only esports API, is now a constant part of our thinking every update cycle. So you already started reaching out to some, you know.
We're not really answering anything here. All right, we're going to move on. Ready, set, impression of.
Like
Thank you very much.
Like you even sounded more German than French.
No way.
I know that Reddy is good at impressions.
Oh.
And maybe you do the impression and people try to guess who it is.
Yeah, this is actually a great idea. This is a really tough one. Y'all ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Brawl Talk. Today we are going to be introducing 6 new hypercharges, several star powers, 2 new brawlers in this next update.
Who's Adrian? All right. You plan on buffing star powers gadgets that didn't keep up. Okay.
Your bitter rival. Do you plan on buffing the star powers gadgets that didn't keep up with the power scaling, like Ruff's field promotion, for example?
Bro nailed it.
This
I
is a really
agree.
good question. The problem with that one specifically is it's a flat value, and it's like that on purpose. There's a few flat values things in the game still, for example, the shield gear, because if that is made percentage based, then it kind of flips who it's for. Instead of being for a squishy brawler, now it's for a tank, for example, for the shield gear. If it's, let's say, 10% of your HP. It's similar to the field promotion, but I do think we could increase the flat value, but probably not make it a percentage, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Pale Major.
All right. So really no answer. He kind of focused too much on one specific gadget rather than answering, do you plan on reworking or buffing up any existing gadgets that are having a hard time in the meta? A lot of question dodging. That kind of sucks. I was hoping to hear like, yes, there's a list that we want to work on, and we'll get to it in the next round or two of balance changes. That's what I wanted to hear. Instead, he hyper fixated on why he can't do that one specific thing. All right. All right. So this is the coin shortage that everyone's raising a ruckus about. This part has to be in the video 100%. So this part is the coin shortage. So the community has asked for so long to find a solution with coins compared to PowerPoints. Coins is in big shortage. Maybe some kind of conversion could be possible, or at least reducing the price of hypercharges. Thanks in advance. Love you, Danny. All right. So I know already that they're going to say there is no coin shortage. I've already seen it. It's been spoiled on Twitter for me. So let's just hear him say it. Let's hear Frank say they're giving out a ton of coins and there's no problem. There is no Warren Bossing say.
The community has asked for so long to find solution with coins compared to PowerPoints. Coins is in big shortage. Maybe some kind of conversion could be possible to at least reducing the prices of hypercharge and things. In advance, I love you, Dan. Yeah, so like I prepare years for this question.
All right, Dino, thanks for hanging out. Glad you hung out this long. Appreciate you, man. I will see you next time. We're going to stream on Thursday, so hang out for that. I'm going to work on this video tomorrow, so hopefully you'll get to see the rest of, stuff you didn't see. Anyway, later.
It's like what I think some kind of conversion could be possible to at least reducing the prices of hypercharge and things. In advance, I love you, Dan. Yeah, so like I prepare years for this question. It's like what I think that there is a problem is because we are not like giving less coins. Like we are giving more coins in general, like raw coins actually, on top of like the random.
That's fair. They are giving more coins than they normally give. I agree. There are ways to get coins. The problem is, and they're not going to answer it, is that they have released so many brawlers and they have made it so much more expensive to get things like hypercharges that is causing this coin shortage. If you need to spend 5,000 coins to get a hypercharge and it takes you, 12,000, 13,000 coins to upgrade a brawler all the way up to max, plus buy gears, plus buy gadgets, plus buy star powers, it costs a lot of coins to upgrade a brawler maxed out. No matter how much you give out, you keep making the game more expensive, and that's what people are talking about. They're not talking about necessarily how many coins in total you're giving out. They're talking about in total that number. It's 17,000 with hypercharges. All right, fair enough. That number that you're giving out in comparison to the number that it's going to take for me to get hypercharges, maxed out brawlers, gears, gadgets, star powers. You know what I mean? Like if you're giving out 30,000 coins, in a season and it costs me 17,000 to max out a brawler and buy their hypercharge, I can't do that more than once in a season just by the sheer numbers you're giving out. And that's what people are specifically talking about.
No rewards, it's like gadgets, star drops, hypercharging, gacha. But players are still complaining about that. So there's a perception that like I'm not getting enough progression.
And part of that is because of the gacha system. He mentioned it real quickly there. Part of that is because of the gacha system, because it doesn't feel like I'm getting the same amount of rewards I used to get. Because the game is so much more expensive since hypercharges came out. And B, my number of coins is trickled to me a lot slower because it comes through star drops rather than coming straight from a stagnant reward that I can see. I have a stack of 100 end season rewards. I can claim those all right now. Get a brawler maxed out.
And I think it's because, not I think, it's like it's obvious. We added a new sync that is a huge sync, Hypercharge, right? So I think there's a lot of things at play here. Because if we just add a flat number of coins in the Brawl Pass or like something that you can see, okay, so there's a obvious buff here because before it was that, now it's this. Like, so we would see like the buff, and then that will probably help a bit with the perception, but I don't think it would solve anything because it wouldn't change engagement. It wouldn't change how much players will play the game.
If you're telling me that if you stuck a fat stack of coins at the end of the Brawl Pass, say instead of getting star drops, say it gave you 500 coins for every 500 tokens. Say every token that you earned after you finished the Brawl Pass gave you 1 coin. And you're telling me at the end of the season, you got 5 stacks of 500 coins, and there's 2,000 coins sitting at the end of your Brawl Pass. You're thinking people wouldn't notice that? You think people would not notice an extra 2,000 gold being dropped into their accounts? You're crazy. You're crazy. You're delusional.
Because as we...
Hello, Spincord. How are you? Yes, 17,000 according to Sems. Sounds like a crazy number.
proved before, like if it's just a flat reward, people are not as excited to get, or like they don't chase it. So then what we do with that is like, there is the need, there are people want to get this currency, or they need more of these. So we use this as a carrot for like our events, for like SpongeBob, there's like actual progression there, which is on top of the flat progression that you have in game. Community events is the same. We have like this big budget of like rewards that drop in one day, and then you feel like I can't miss this because it will help my account to progress. So then it feels like we get more of the of what players are asking, and then we get like something in return as well. And then you might question like, but why are you so greedy? Why do you need these results all the time? Just do a flat buff and that's it. And then I think we go even deeper, because like, just take an example, like the game that just got released, like Jeff's talking all the time about that, the Black Meat Wukong. Like it's a game that was made by a Chinese company, and like it's so polished, it's almost like perfect, right? And then it beat.
Where's he going with this? What is he talking about? So he's just talking about how if it's a flat reward, people won't be excited, they won't chase it, and instead they're trying to spread that across other events to try to give us that. But because it's spread, instead of it all being in one located place, we don't really notice it. So you can't have it both ways. You can't say that we're not going to notice it if you give it to us as a flat reward, and you can't say that if it's spread out, we're not noticing it. Like, you can't have it both ways. You can't be like, we're doing this, but you don't notice it. And also, if we do it this way, you won't notice it. It's so dumb.
Dark Souls or every other Souls game, like maybe not by far, but like in maybe 2 weeks. And every time there's a bunch of developers that are really talented, really good, that are releasing games in the market all the time. And we feel like we are in this constant battle of like, how can we make the most of the things we do, right? So that's why we require engagement for everything we do. Because if we, in a moment, release something mild, someone can go on top and release something great, and that could be enough for us to lose a lot of players, right? So that's why for us, players changing something is really important. With that said, I just want to show a graph of how much more coins we are giving now.
It's so frustrating that we as a community recognize that there is a problem. They refuse to acknowledge the problem. Try to explain. I love that. All right, so what I was saying, it's so frustrating that we as a community recognize there's a problem. We tell them there's a problem. They refuse to acknowledge the problem. And then they go on this podcast and they try to gaslight us into saying there's not a problem. No one's denying that there are more coins in 2024 than there were in 2020. No one's trying to deny that. But what we do know is that there is also 3 times as many brawlers. There is also 10 times as much cost. There is also gears and gadgets and star powers and hypercharges that need to be bought. And you guys, instead of telling us that, you know, we could look into doing this, and it's a resource balancing economy, and we have to look into it, we have to crunch the numbers and look over it, maybe we could do this for you guys. Instead of trying to, like, alleviate any of our concerns, they gaslight us into saying there is no problem. There is no war in Boxing Say, so to speak. And I think it's very disingenuous.
So, like, the average that it doesn't show that much because, of course, there's a lot of spike.
Brother, look where this line is. This line, average income for players above average income. Look where this line is right here. Let me move my camera for you. Let me move my camera for you. This line's here. Look how far they moved it. It's not that, this is what, 8? This is like 7 to 900. This is like 900 to 1200. The line never goes over 1,000. What are we talking about? I see these spikes. We're talking about the bulk of the line. Right here, we're talking about the bulk of the line. This graph is so. What are you showing us this graph for? This graph proves nothing. It proves our point. You wouldn't like this graph. Jelly's home, guys. Say hi to Jelly. Jelly says hi, chat. I've been reacting to a 3-hour podcast for the last 2 hours. On new accounts, you get brawlers faster than you have enough coins you can upgrade them. I agree with it. I can totally see that, Spin Cord. That's a good point. All right, let's get into it. Let's hear him talk about this graph. Let's hear him try to gaslight me into thinking that there is significantly more coins. Not small amount, significantly more. That this number is significantly higher than this. This, honestly, like, this is like 500 to 700. And this is like 800 to 900. Like, it's not that much different. Come on.
And then if you would average, like put this spike in an average, it will actually increase the baseline. But you can see that even like the baseline is already increased when you change the Brawl Pass to the new format. It's like, it feels that we already like...
But we're not talking about the spikes, bro. Like, the spikes are great. This is cool. This is awesome. This was probably the 100 star drop event here. But like, and I get that like this counts, but like you're going to spend these coins and then you're going to be back down here.
Giving more overall. And this, for example, I don't even know what's this event like in April. I think it's the 100 star drops, maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's like this day, like
and like somebody in chat pointed out, this doesn't even take into account the inflation that has happened since Hypercharges came out. Like, this is just raw coins, but it doesn't take into account how many more coins it costs to upgrade your account across all your brawlers, because they keep dropping brawlers every single month. Your account gets more expensive. Every single time they drop a brawler, it gets 12,000 more coins to 17,000 more coins expensive to upgrade a brawler or to max out. And it's crazy.
like you shouldn't miss. And that's why the events are so successful, right? So I think it's just like us asking for engagement, like keep playing the game constantly and you get rewarded, and maybe you feel like the progression is going faster.
Maybe you'll feel like it.
We have here the average daily income. So like that's every day. And then you can see how like the baseline is very high. And it's still climbing up, which makes Jeff on our side to get desperate. Like,
yeah.
Oh my God, they're getting too many coins. But like,
what was that part? Did I hear him say we're getting too many coins? They want to nerf our coins? There's a guy in the back crunching the numbers saying nerf them? We're cooked, chat. We're cooked. They're going to kill us. You know how they nerf us? Instead of cutting our coins, they just drop more brawlers. They drop more hypercharges. We're cooked, chat. We're cooked.
Then we can also release hypercharge and syncs and things like that.
This isn't daily. This is monthly. Spin cord. This is on month. So like in February it would have been 900, where in April or March. In March it was 1,200 for the month.
Or maybe like not put as much rewards in an event. So for example, the last one we did with the box versus star drops.
Oh no! Wait! They're trying to say you get 1,000. Yeah, you're right. At the bottom it says daily coins. At the bottom, he said this graph was no. This is month. I don't know why this doesn't update on the bottom here. I don't know why this didn't update, but right here, my camera's in the way. Right here it says month. Right here it says month. This is monthly income.
We actually gave both rewards, so that was a lot as well.
It was a lot.
But intentionally, it was supposed to be like one of the rewards only, so it wasn't
all right.
like
So
as much.
If we go off this for monthly income, it costs. Keep in mind, A Hypercharge is 5,000 coins. They're not going too far above 1,000 coins for a month. In fact, a lot of months, you're below it. So, like, here, August, you were below it of last year. So let's just take this year in account, right? So from this year, you've been above it, and then you went below it for May, June, July, August, and then you got back above it in September. So you've been you've been below 1,000 coins a month. I'm assuming this doesn't involve the Brawl Pass. I'm assuming this is free to play players. Great. You're getting 1,000 coins a month. It costs way more than that to do anything in this game. 1,000 coins is a gadget. One gadget, one gear. You could buy one of those. This is nothing. Like, how can you show us this graph and say you're getting 1,000 coins in a month and then say there's no coin shortage when it costs 17,000 coins to max out a Hypercharge Brawler? 12,000 non-Hypercharge.
But you can see like the events are kind of like this flexible currency that we can adapt to however our economy is. It's like we can see like that, yeah, players are getting too little, they can't progress. Then we should like a bigger event and things like that. Because we also don't want to be in a situation where like there's a paywall or like we play like.
Chat, I want to show you something really quick, all right? They don't want there to be a situation where there's a paywall to play their game. They want you to engage in the game in a healthy way that doesn't require you to spend money, but it's better if you do. All right? I just want you to remember what he just said. He doesn't want there to be a paywall. Do you know what's in the shop every day, no matter what the day is, every day of the week? The one thing that we've been asking for, it's sitting right there, guys. It's sitting right there. There's coins at the end of your shop that you could buy gems. You can buy gems. And then buy coins and alleviate your coin crisis. They want you to buy coins and make more money. That's the only reason I feel like they would try to gaslight you into saying there's no coin shortage. Because they sell coins in the shop. It's the one thing they consistently sell in the shop that can solve this exact problem. That's all I gotta say, man. And I know we've been watching this podcast and I've been like super negative about like their monetization. And it's not even so much the monetization of the game. It's the gaslighting and the it's not like this feeling that they're giving me. They give me the ickiest vibes watching this because people are asking questions and they want genuine feedback, and we get this corporate bullshit answer like, no, the game wouldn't be more fun if you didn't have to spend money on it. There is no Warren Bossing say. There is no coin crisis in Brawl Stars. Like, there is no problem with buying with the Brawler release schedule. While you have a guy sitting right across from you saying, I don't enjoy the Brawler release schedule like this. I feel like the early access packs are ruining him. They looked him in the eye and told him, no, that's not part of the numbers that we looked at. That does not compute. Listen, I get it. Not a lot of devs would go in front of a camera and talk about this type of stuff. I get it. And honestly, I feel like it'd be better if they didn't. Like, I'm going to be straight up. Because this made me mad. This is all the answers they gave us were either non-answers or gaslighting into saying that there is no problem. And I've complained a lot through this whole thing. And there's still another 40 minutes of the podcast to go. And I don't even want to finish it. I'm totally honest. Like, this is crazy, bro. Every step of the way, they have said something that just feels disingenuous. Not what's the word I'm looking for? Not cozy to us as players. Like they don't really answer in a way that makes us feel like, okay, maybe they're right, or maybe because like we're sitting here trying to upgrade our accounts, I could spend all my coins right now. You know what? Fuck it. Let's do it. Let's spend all my fucking coins right now. Don't worry about my background, all right? Let's spend all my fucking coins right now. Chat, what do you want to do? I got 23,000 coins. You want to buy some hyperchargers or something? Fuck it. Who cares? I feel like I shouldn't do this. I can't do this. I gotta upgrade Kenji. It's a bad idea. Buy gold tick. I can't do this. I have to buy Kenji. I have to upgrade Kenji. But all the same, I could spend that 20,000 coins. I could pick up 4 hypercharges right now. And I would be shot for 2 months with not being able to upgrade brawlers and shit. Kenji comes out in a couple days. I cannot spend my coins. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, chat. I'm sorry. It was bad of me to say that. If Kenji wasn't coming out, if they had released this a couple of weeks ago, I might have done it. But anyway, I don't know. I don't feel like I need to sit here and listen to them talk much more about this. I'm so deflated from this. It's kind of eye-opening for me. Yeah.
Like
I'm so deflated. I don't even know if I want to keep watching this. Like it's kind of sad. Like it took the wind out of me. Hearing him say that there is no coin shortage and then showing this shitty ass graph about monthly income and bragging that we're not making 1,000 coins a month and that there's a guy in the back. There's fucking Johnny in the back saying that we're getting too much coins. That's crazy to me, bro. That's crazy. Like, I feel... It feels icky, man. It feels icky. That's like the only word. Like, I don't like the way this information was presented to us. 100% on God. All right, you know what? We're going to skip over the coin shortage shit. I think we get the point. They're going to sit here and continue to try to gaslight us into talking about why they can't pump more coins into the economy and what the problem with that would be.
And even, some people learned about, they're maybe listening to this podcast or see it on YouTube. And then the next generation of players that starts new will experience the same. And they haven't seen this Brawl Talk podcast.
Yeah. But I think with that said, I think it'll be interesting for us like to discuss internally what we can we do to change this perception. I think one of the questions there is like, what if you add gears to start drops or something like that? Adrian feels against it because you feel like a Vision Gears on Primo.
But like, yeah, that's like you're gonna get gears and like who cares? What happens if you added gears to a star drop? It's not gonna make it cheaper. It's just gonna make shittier drops and star drops. Like it doesn't make it any cheaper to get the optimal build for a brawler. Like what good is a gear like he said Vision on Primo? If I get that doesn't save me 1,000 coins. That just means I have Vision on Primo. That's not good.
Yeah, I don't think it's the best idea we can come up with, but it's just like one of...
You could do like a gear token, I guess. You could do like a gear or gadget token where you can use that on any brawler in your account, maybe.
The idea is that it's like, okay, this is an extra thing on top that has an absolute coin value.
Yeah.
But of course, the perception is like, it's either great value or it might not be great value depending on what you get and for who, right? But there is many ways we can go about this. And at the end of the day, like you said, it's about perception.
Yeah.
Like we are giving you more...
There's a what?
It looks like there's somebody doing a survey
at
the door and I'm ignoring it.
You don't want to be counted in the census?
more, but if you don't feel like you're getting more, then we're giving it in the wrong way, or we're not communicating clearly enough or something like that.
Yeah, and I think also like if you look at Cairo's free-to-play account, like of course like he's doing like the min max, so like he's doing everything he can to like progress his account for free, but like he's already been like playing for 1 year. He has like, I don't know, 30 brawlers maxed out with hypercharges and everything. And that's already enough to be competitive, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But of course, like he's being smart on his choices. So he's not picking brawlers that are like weak for a long time and everything.
Yeah, and he's making choices, right? And I think that's something.
Could they be more consistent with these star drop rewards? All right, consistency with star drop rewards. Let's get through this.
We feel like you have more agency when you're opening drops, essentially.
That's like, I keep
Plus, like, remove that slight frustration when in the star drop we win here. Could maybe a little bit more like consistency in the star drop rewards, especially when it's like an item worth gold that you're receiving. Could that maybe help the problem here? Plus, like, remove that slight frustration when like you get a legendary and you're hoping for, I don't know, a hypercharge, but you get a gadget instead.
Sure. This is something we discussed actually recently as well. I don't want to spoil too much, but there's definitely discussions going on, like how can we feel like you have more agency when you're opening drops, essentially.
That's like, I keep getting bling, you know, and I just want credits for my for my fame.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say, like, it's very subjective as well, right? Like, let's say you get a hypercharge, right? If you really like that brawler, that's a great drop for you.
Yeah.
If you don't like the brawler, that's not a good drop for you.
Yeah.
But value-wise, it's the same, right? Like, the absolute value is the same, but not.
I don't think anyone's. I don't know. Personally, if I get a hypercharge, I don't really care what brawler it's on. I'm generally happy to get that hypercharge on that brawler, and I'm actually motivated to upgrade that brawler. That way I can actually use the hypercharge. Okay? You see what I'm saying? Like, for example, I mean, my Brock was already maxed out, but I got a Brock's hypercharge not that long ago, and I was like, cool, that's great. Gale's an example. I got Gale's hypercharge, and I just maxed him out because if I play Gale, I have his hypercharge, I want to use it. I don't care about what specific rewards I'm getting out of star drops. What I care about is the totality of everything. And they've made the game so more expensive with these hypercharges and the constant release of brawlers. And the small buff of coins they're giving and these is not enough. And they're sidestepping all of it in this podcast.
For you. And that's a tricky thing to solve for, right? Like, how do you feel about that? So.
Yeah, also random ability also allows us to give more exactly because of that. It's like we are only allowed to give more resources because you don't get exactly what you want all the time, right? It's like
we can give you more resources because you're not guaranteed to get those resources. Think about it. Think about it.
You are still progressing your account and you still get the value, but then
and then you're also saying like, oh, we're going to give you 400, we're going to give you 400 power points as opposed to 200 gold. When gold is the thing you need, but they have the exact same amount of value. They have the same value.
Because if you give exactly what you want, then you don't have a carrot to chase, and then you don't have a meaning to play the game.
And there's also like
the reason people play the game is not to upgrade their characters, it's to push the fucking trophies. I'm getting so aggravated just listening to them talk.
Tons of positives about giving you rewards for brawlers you're not currently playing.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because you want people to have a wide as possible brawler pool because they will enjoy the game more. The moment you get over this one-trick pony behavior that, you know, you're only playing Edgar.
Edgar, yeah.
Then, but sometimes it needs a carrot. It needs to have a gentle push to, hey, we gave you hypercharge for this brawler now. You never play this brawler.
I understand this mentality. I literally just talked about that. I get that mentality. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about not being able to upgrade the brawlers we want because you won't give us enough resources and you think we're getting too much.
But, you know, go over that. Well, actually, it's true RNG for us. So it's not like even we're deliberately targeting brawlers you're not playing. But it really helps, actually, the game as a whole to push you gently in trying out a different brawler you never played. Because, you know, oh my god, you might turn out that you like this other brawler. And then you're like, oh, damn, I really like playing this brawler. So it's like the random rewards have a really good use in that way as well. And at the same time, it allows us to give us more value, actually, than we would in flat currency.
That's the second time they said more value because you're not guaranteed to get it. You can get more of something because you're not guaranteed to get it. What the What are they talking about? This is so dumb. Like, I kind of understand what they're saying, but also that's not what we want, man. Like, that's not what we need. The games economy is unhealthy, and I hate that they refuse to acknowledge it. And they just keep saying this. They keep saying the same phrase. Random rewards so you can get more rewards.
Choice and value need to be in balance always.
Yeah.
And I think randomized rewards give us this ability to give out a little bit more because it's random.
He said it 2 times in less than 20 seconds. You can get more because you're not guaranteed to get it.
Cool. Then Qubit. Will there be updates that have a long effect on game? Because last updates were just an event, new skins, blah, blah, blah. But I would like to know...
Yeah,
yeah, it's a lot of work. Thank you. But like to know if there are some long-lasting changes planned. For example, the trophy reset.
Yeah, I think
we
already
answered this question already, but I would like to use this moment to sneak peek, and we can cut after if it's not true. That
Oh, we get a sneak peek. Let's check it out. What do we got?
the next update will have a change to trophy reset.
Oh, so we're only going to reset 5 brawlers, and we're going to get rewarded with more bling, but it's only 5 brawlers. Cool. No, obviously I don't know what it's going to be. And I'm very jaded from the way this podcast has gone. So I don't know if I like where it might be going. We'll find out, obviously, when they do the Brawl Talk at the end of the month. But just gauging from the way everything has gone here, I'm not excited about things. Maybe I'm just in a negative. I'm in a negative mental space. I'm in a negative mental space where I don't think they're gonna do well with the trophy reset. Granted, voice cracked. Granted, it's kind of hard to make it worse than what it is now, because I literally talked about earlier how bad trophy reset it is and how it kind of disincentivizes any type of trophy pushing. So we'll see.
Exciting.
Whoa.
No, I picked the wrong one. Anyway.
Another good blooper.
Okay.
All right, what do we got? We got PowerPoint inflation. Do I even want to hear what they say about PowerPoint inflation? We'll start down this road, but I don't think it's going to go good.
Roy the Cobber Boy. Are you ever planning on getting rid of PowerPoint, since basically everything costs gold and even costs gold to upgrade Brawler?
They're going to say no to this. They're not going to get rid of PowerPoints because it's another bottleneck. And like they said, they like the bottlenecks we have. They're good bottlenecks. There's no problem with the way the game works.
Are you, for example, going to get rid of PowerPoints completely or make it so upgrading Brawlers only costs PowerPoints instead of gold? I think, Frank, you had a good talk about PowerPoints, of the future of PowerPoints or something like that, regarding to progression.
Yeah, and like more of a general statement. One of the tools, one of the reasons why it's in game development and game design, it's better to have multiple currencies, is that you have more angles to balance things. You can give rewards and encourage some behaviors, and the moment you just have one currency, you will forego all of that. So
we can weight PowerPoints more heavily because you can buy gold out of the shop.
You're losing design space. You need to be more strict with how much you're giving out and all of that. So 2 currencies just help us to balance things in a better way. So we are not intending to remove further currencies, even though we haven't shied away in the past from removing currencies when necessary. When we feel it doesn't add value, then yes. But I would expect us to keep 2.
He is right about removing currencies. They did do that multiple times. They did that with gears. They did that with chroma credits. So they've done that a couple of times. Star tokens were another one. They changed that into XP. They got rid of the big tokens, all that stuff. So like they've done that multiple times. I will give them that. 100% they have done that before. I don't think they're going to do it with PowerPoints.
Currencies. Now, this problem with the surplus of PowerPoints is a very specific one. Again, it's affecting very few players, actually.
If I open up my account and I have more PowerPoints than gold, I'm calling bullshit. If I open up my account and there's more PowerPoints on this than gold, I'm calling bullshit. Because I'm a casual player. I don't play the game a lot. And I really don't spend my gold that much. As I just said, I need to upgrade Kenji. So I will spend my gold in a couple of days. But I have 27,000 power points and 23,000 gold. You're not going to tell me that's not a problem. I don't even play that game that much. I haven't even finished this Brawl Pass, and there's like 2 days left in it. I don't play the game that much, and I have more power points than gold.
Including myself, I'm like sitting at 100,000 plus power points. And it's something we're aware of. It's affecting a small amount of people, but in the future, like, we are of course thinking of, you know, if you do the math and you know how many hypercharges we release every update, you will see that there will be probably an end of road at some point next year. Especially, you know, if you would accelerate some hypercharges here and there. So what's next? What's coming after hypercharges? Is it power
Nothing.
12?
Power 12.
Like, we don't know. We genuinely don't know. Do I think it will be power 12? No, probably not. We have some other ideas. All these are way too early to talk about it, but there's other ideas. And we're looking at this, like, these other ideas that would probably add some sort of deepening of gameplay. And if you think about, you know, people who have...
This is an interesting tidbit here. I do like that he's saying that, like, they probably won't add power 12, but there's going to be some other kind of mechanic that gets added once hypercharges are complete. I do find that a bit interesting. I wonder how they're going to monetize it, though. How they're going to release it to the players. Because, like, we're talking about removing power points. That was the initial point of this question here. And he has somehow yapped his way away from power points and into new permanent feature mechanics that might get added next year. But he can't talk about them because there's nothing in solid or in the works, or it's not far enough for them to, like, make any type of official announcement.
Brawlers at power 11 and hypercharges. And they're probably pretty mature in the game, and they want deeper gameplay. So, and those players are also the players who have a surplus of power points. So I guess
like an opportunity.
Yeah. Can we take these two things and, you know, make something magical in the middle? So can we add deeper gameplay while addressing the PowerPoint surplus on high end?
Yeah.
For high end players, for people who have pretty much all the brawlers unlocked, because that's the only situation you will be in a surplus of PowerPoints. So we're trying to figure out, like, if we can solve both things at the same time, have cool new gameplay and fix the PowerPoint situation.
So you're going to make whatever this new mechanic is, you're going to tie it to power points. So you're just going to add a feature onto Brawlers that it's going to cost more power points and more gold and make both things a problem. That's being facetious, 100%. But, like, that's my interpretation of it. To alleviate the overabundance of power points, we're going to add a feature once hypercharges are done that you're going to need to buy to upgrade your brawlers, and it'll cost more power points. So instead of getting rid of power points or adding a cap to them and converting them to gold or doing anything that might help people, we're going to just let you keep accumulating power points for the next year, and then we're going to add a feature that costs a lot of power points for you to spend on.
So in the short term, that also means that we're not going to change anything about the existing situation because, you know, we want to get there sooner or later.
Tiger Tor 1 question. What is your opinion on win trade?
All right, I don't care about win trading. They probably don't like it, but can't really do much about it. What do you think about adding a possibility to selecting background music? Don't care about that. Are you planning to rework bad hypercharges such as Bell Jeans? We'll listen to him talk about this. This is a quick one.
Great catch. Are you thinking to rework some hypercharges which are bad? Like Jean, Bells, Charlie, Pearl, Nannies, and yeah.
Yeah, short answer, yes. Funnily enough, Jeans and Bells were actually supposed to be switched in the original design.
What?
Yeah, true story.
Can we do that?
No, like, so that was the original design for them, essentially.
Homing Jean.
But it
All right, King, thank you for hanging out. I'll talk to you later, man. Thanks for hanging out so long.
felt better the other way around.
I love that.
You love that?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
why.
show him your arm over here.
No. That's
Unbiased.
my tattoo.
But yeah, so we want to get through with all hypercharges because we're trying a lot of experimental stuff as well, right? And once we're done, we can go back and go like, okay, which ones don't work? And then we can deal with those.
All right, so as far as bad hypercharges, they're going to rework them once they are finished releasing hypercharges. I think that's a fine way to approach it. I think they did something very similar with gadgets and star powers, where they didn't rework anything too quickly. They kind of spent time focusing on just getting stuff out rather than spending time reworking everything. That kind of makes sense to me. That's fine.
Cool. Mario YouTuber Bloody X.
Damage inflations as ruining game modes. Don't really care about that. Where is King Frank? Don't care about that. When will Gene and Bell swap hypercharges? What the heck? Most hated brawler. Don't care about that. Ooh, Supercell Make. We'll listen to him talk about Supercell Make real quick.
Thai guy. Question about Supercell Make. What are you actually looking for in a skin? Because I've noticed that sometimes the winning skin concept will be tweaked slightly when added into the game. Just want to know what makes one skin better than the rest.
Yeah, so purple is very...
I like that he made a purple joke. You know what? Frank's all right by me now. That made everything better. Just kidding.
Yeah, so like we actually like when we are picking the finalists, we have like always like what is it? A bit of like most voted skins, so like skins that were vote for the community, usually purple, and then the other ones like are picked by me and the artists. So like they pick the ones they really like. So like there is actually like a balance of like things that we really like personally, and then things that the community voted for.
Yeah, this is something we know, is that they do take some community count into the voting process, but they also do hand select things across multiple people. So, I mean, that's why that way not one criteria is dominating the entire thing, even though it seems that way with the dark, edgy purple skins.
And then we put those 4 as like the final voting for the community. And then that's basically, then this is dictated by voting. It's like the highest number of vote gets into the game. It's like the times that we actually changed the skin, it was because we are not, the final voting was with the original concept. Now we are already redrawing the way that feels more brawl. And then
then they're saying that if they make any tweaks to a skin, that's just to brawlify it a bit more, because, you know, certain things need to have more rounded edges or different textures or different setups, where the original concept wasn't necessarily like that.
So then once you vote for the skin to win, it won't change anymore. So like it was only like in the past where we're not like actually redrawing all the skin before they go to the final voting. Then before they go to Brawl, we just like adapt how they would be better for the game, which is usually like toning up the colors or making more vivid, or like making the shapes more toy-like, a bit more round, not like super square or things like that. Like I think the last one that happened was Fang, and then after that we were redrawing all the finalists before it goes for the final voting.
Yeah, often there's...
Okay, so what he's saying is that now they do it pre-vote where they used to do it post-vote. I get it. So they used to do it, we would vote on a skin and then they would brawlify it and then put it in the game. Now we vote on skins, they brawlify it, and then we vote on it, and then it gets put onto the game. So they move that process from later down the line to earlier, so you know what you're voting on more or less. I got it now.
Simplification needed. Like normally our skins are like, they have a specific...
All right, we're going to move on from here. Is it possible to have an alternative version of game only to test? Nah. Will there be map maker changes? We'll check that out real quick.
Diego Bolea, like will be changed to the map maker in 2024. I use it a lot to play with my friends, and it's so abandoned.
There won't be changes to map maker in 2024. Is like, if you know, like in the roadmap video, in the past and in the future, we're talking about what's our focus, and everything that's not mentioned there's not in our focus. And map maker, even though we're all fans of the map maker, we think it's like it has tons of potential and everything. It's also one of these things that it's a fairly big project to do anything with it. And when we do something, we'd like to do more than just add some different map elements. You know, it needs to be something cool to make it more relevant for more people.
Yep.
So we'd love to go back to it, but not in 2024.
So nothing's going to happen with Map Maker. They want to do too much to it to make it worth their time right now. So that's unfortunate.
Sweet. Now we got to Instagram questions. Why does Edgar exist from Savas?
Great question.
Yeah, it was before Adrian.
All right. Why don't they add voice chat? Probably because of toxicity, and plus it's probably a lot of bandwidth on the game. Is there a chance to be hired at Supercell? I'm not going to bother with that. Why did you delete boxes? We know why they did that. Why is Frank bald? That's kind of rude. What do you think of Brazil? Why did you remove... All right, Hypercharge Unleashed.
Cool.
All right, so this question is, why did they remove Hypercharge Unleashed? Let's check it out.
Miguel13, why did you remove the Hypercharge event? Could it come back in the future?
Good question. So why did we remove it? We removed it because it wasn't fun. It's like it delivered the goods, but people really just played it to get the goods.
That's why people play your temporary events, is just to get the goods, but you keep doing those, probably because it makes you money.
And that was not the reason why we made it in the first place.
No.
So for us, it was like, hey, this could be a really cool, engaging moment for everyone, where you can try out the new hypercharges and you can have fun with it and you can experiment, you know.
But you didn't let us pick what brawler we got to use the hypercharges on, and you didn't let us test out very much. You made it into an RNG mode that randomly gave us a brawler on a random team on a random map, and maybe that's why people didn't enjoy it, because they couldn't actually test them out in depth. It was kind of just like, I queue up, I play, and whatever I get, I get. So I might get stuck with Jackie's hypercharge 10 times, as opposed to getting something like, Edgar's or whatever. You know what I mean? Like whatever batch of brawlers came out. Like, you didn't give people autonomy over it. You made it an RNG mode. Maybe that's why people didn't enjoy it as much.
It didn't happen.
But it wasn't. Yeah.
So that's why we stopped.
Yeah, and then as we said before, like now we get those opportunity of giving resources, and then we put in the community events where we actually drive more players, and like we make a bigger deal out of that. So the hypercharge event wasn't doing anything for us. And also what's creating problems. Like I think the last change we didn't work, but when we did work, we didn't see any results.
But so I guess the main point there is, even though we removed the event, the resources didn't get removed. They just got...
So they're going back to this, we reallocated the resources. They're still in the game. You just don't see them. And like, it's cool for them to say that, but we're also doing a trust me, bro situation, which isn't good in my opinion. Like, we've already talked about how they say like, oh, there is no coin shortage, all that stuff. This is 5,000 coins that they just took and they're moving it. And then they show us a graph that shows that we were getting less than 1,000 coins a month. I don't understand what they're talking about. How are we getting less than 1,000 coins a month, but they removed a Hypercharge Unleashed event that was valued at 5,000 coins a month? Shouldn't we at least have a spike every other month to give us 5,000 coins? If that's really the case, like, what are we talking about? I don't understand, man.
Switched.
Unless I'm reading that graph that they showed wrong, like that graph they showed earlier, unless I'm reading that wrong, it just seems like they're talking out of both sides of their mouth here.
Other things.
Yeah, we are not giving the hypercharge directly.
Yes.
But we are giving the value.
I think if they gave us a hypercharge directly, it would be way more hype. Imagine if they did a hypercharged community event where there was something where like you had to use X amount of hypercharges to unlock certain rewards, and at the end of it, we got a free hypercharge drop. Maybe, and make it random. That way, like Frank said, it would push you to play a brawler that you necessarily would not have gotten. Imagine if they did an event like that. But they're not going to do that because you know why.
Like, for example, right after we did this change, we did the thumbs up for Brawl, which gave like 5 legendary star drops in one go. And then actually It's very
I'm going to say this. 5 legendary brawl drop. I'm going to say this right here. 5 legendary star drops is not the same as getting a guaranteed hypercharge. You might get 5 hypercharges from those 5 legendary star drops. You might get some super rare skins. You might get credits. It's not the same, and it's all RNG. I don't like this. We took from here to make random rewards over here. That doesn't make sense. That's not cool, man.
very likely that one of those will be a hypercharge.
You can't say it's very likely, man. Yeah, let's just move on. Can we get automated Wi-Fi icon when a teammate's having issues? What is the point of Nanny's hypercharge? All right, we'll listen about Nani's hypercharge and then we'll wrap up.
The last 2 questions. George Valadares, what was the point in Nani's hypercharge? You could at least make it go through walls.
I don't know. I mean, I thought it was cool to have Peep go bigger so you can actually hit it properly. But if you're unhappy with it, maybe, yeah, we should make it go through walls and add some popcorn.
But I don't know if the...
And add some popcorn,
the walls
make it fangs.
This would make sense, right?
No, I'm kidding. But yeah, there is other cool stuff we could do with it as well, for sure.
Hillary Clinton's in my chat. What's up?
Yeah.
Like we actually, like on the note of hypercharges, we're looking at how hypercharges perform. And one of the criteria to measure that is like how many people want one of those hypercharges actually. And so, yeah.
Yeah, and also that's one way, and also
I'm losing my mind. This podcast was dog water. I'm not happy with with a lot of things they said.
The way I look at the balance of it is what is the delta? So meaning what is your win rate with the hypercharge in this brawler versus those that do not? Because then it's like, okay, how strong is this hypercharge actually for this brawler? And that's a good measurement as well to see like, okay.
All right, well, I'm going to wrap up here because the last question is about Danny being a mermaid, and I don't really care about that. I think it's a bit of a meme. All right, overall, this podcast, I'm not going to lie, was very disappointing. It felt like a lot of the questions were either sidestepped or they were gaslighting into not talking about the actual problem and trying to tell us that there was no problem. Specifically about coins, Hypercharge Unleashed, they didn't really answer that, and they kind of said like, oh, we're doing this, or there is no problem. And we as players know that there are problems existent, and it's like, I don't understand what the hell they're thinking. And then there's like issues that they talked about with Teddy sitting right across from them, talking about how he doesn't enjoy new brawler releases because of the early access packs. And then Frank looked him dead in the eyes and said, that's not part of our numbers. And it's like, what the hell are we doing? What is the point of doing this podcast if you're not going to answer anybody's questions? I don't understand. Maybe I'm too negative about this stuff. You could let me know down in the comments if I'm too negative about this. And I'll acknowledge I'm not happy the way that I reacted to this, but this is my initial thoughts on everything. That's why we do react videos. So yeah, I don't know, man. This if I was their PR team, I think this would be a nightmare and I would make them redo it because a lot of the things did not come across in a nice way. Anyway, let me know what you think about everything down in the comments. Hope you guys enjoyed my react. Anyway, that's going to do it for today. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Oh my God, that was 3 hours and 15 minutes of recording. Jesus Christ, man. Oh, sheesh. Long day, bro. Long day. Hillary Clinton, you're the only one chatting. How are you? Yap King, for sure. That was wild, bro. That was not a good time. You're good? Good to hear. I do have bad news for you, though. I've been streaming for like 3.5 hours. I ran out of gas about an hour ago. I'm going to wrap up. So, Hillary Clinton, let me explain to you my game plan. So tomorrow, I'm going to be editing this react to this podcast. So, I'm not going to stream tomorrow. Wednesday, I'm thinking I'm going to work on a video as well. Oh, hey, Kirby, you just got here. Congratulations, Kirby. Congratulations. You missed a 3.5 hour video. That sucks, bro. Time zones are a bitch, aren't they? All right, so I'm gonna wrap up now. I'm gonna work on this react tomorrow and try to have it out very soon. Probably, it's a lot to cut, but I think I can cut a lot of the fat out of it. So I'll try to get it, try to get it out by Wednesday, the latest. Thursday we are gonna stream. We're gonna push Kenji, so keep an eye out for that. And then I don't know if I have anything going on this weekend. I might try to stream on Saturday as well. So stream on Thursday, maybe stream on Saturday. And there'll be at least one more video coming out this week. In the meantime, my video on the Poco SpongeBob event did not do well. So if you guys could do me a solid and go check that out. It's sitting at like 70-something views. And if you could take 10 minutes out of your day and check that out for me, I would really appreciate you guys. If not, if you don't have time, I understand. But in the meantime, thanks for hanging out. Kirby, sorry you missed the entire stream. Hillary Clinton, I know you just got here too, but I appreciate you. I will catch you guys next time, all right? Peace.